Chapter 31, Ambassador, what happened? Sasuke left the kidnapping scene and took Hinata home. After arriving home, Mikoto was very happy to see that his son brought back a little girl. Oh, how old is my son? He can already take a little girl home. What will happen next? But, it's really good. Mikoto's mind was in a mess, and he even started thinking about what to name his grandson. After all, the boy's parents want to find a daughter-in-law as soon as possible, while the girl's parents are on guard against the little yellow-haired boy. Naruto, it's so big. Gazan, what are you staring at Hinata for? Sasuke found it strange that his mother was staring at Hinata without blinking. Hinata was also embarrassed by the stares. Hello, Aunt Mikoto. Mikoto was brought back to her senses by the two children and smiled. Hey, okay, come, have some tea. Hinata, would you like green tea or juice? I can do either of those. Okay, Auntie, I'll go prepare afternoon tea. You and Sasuke can play in the living room for a while. The two children took off their shoes and slowly walked into the living room. Mikoto was the only one at home now. She was bored and was just about to take a nap when her son came back with his friends. After a while, Mikoto brought a plate of juice and placed it on the table, then went back into the house to get some cookies, meatballs, and other things. Sasuke pulled Hinata along without hesitation, and after they sat down, he handed Hinata some food. Mikoto watched the scene with her aunt smiling. After eating for a while, Sasuke told Mikoto how they were almost kidnapped by human traffickers. Mikoto was frightened when she heard this and looked around at Sasuke and Hinata. Hey, are you two okay? Sasuke shook his head. No, the uncles from the security team took him away. Mikoto heaved a sigh of relief after hearing this. That's good, these human traffickers really deserve to die. Yeah on. Sasuke said that Hinata would stay for dinner in the evening and Mikoto was even happier. He let Sasuke and Hinata look after the house while he went out to buy some delicious food and cook a big meal in the evening. After Mikoto left, Sasuke and Hinata had nothing to do, so they found a box of playing cards and played Joker, Landlord, and Train Building. While the two of them were having fun here, the Cloud Shinobi Ninja over at the Hokage building was not happy. In the Hokage room, Sarutobi Hiruzen was sitting in the middle, with Fugaku on the left and Hayashi on the right. Several members of the security team were in front of the three of them, escorting Cloud Shinobi. Reporting to the third-generation master, this is the human trafficker who attempted to abduct Master Sasuke and Miss Hyaga Hinata today. After the patrol captain finished his report, Fugaku and Hayashi next to him could no longer sit still. They were both very protective of their children and would never let their children get hurt or feel wronged. Master Third Generation, I suspect this man wants to seize Konoha's bloodline limit. There must be someone behind him. Please let me bring him back to the guard team for a thorough interrogation. Fugaku spoke first. Hayashi beside him also nodded. Brother Fugaku, please take me with you. I'm afraid he will fight back before he dies. I will give him acupuncture points first. Hayashi-sen's words make sense. The third generation nodded. This Cloud Shinobi village was indeed going too far. They actually wanted to seize the bloodline limits of the two major families of Konoha. Both the Hyaga and Uchiha could not tolerate this. Go ahead, just don't die. You can use me as a witness when the time comes to ask the Sea Raikage for an explanation. Yes. The two answered in unison. Fugaku waved his hand, and the guards took the man away. Guard prison. This Cloud Shinobi was tied to a rack, and his face suddenly turned bad when he saw a bunch of people around him grinning at him. Brothers, I'm a ninja from the diplomatic mission of Cloud Shinobi village. Can you please give our Raikage a favor and not use violence to force a confession? Fugaku and Hayashi looked at each other and laughed. Hayashi stepped forward first, but Cloud Shinobi still had no idea what Hayashi was going to do. Hayashi's veins bulged around his eyes rolled back, and he quickly made the gentle fist gesture and suddenly struck an acupuncture point on the man's body. 1 palm. 2 palms. 4 palms. 8 palms. 16 palms. 32 palms. 8 trigrams 64 palms. A series of acupressure treatments caused Cloud Shinobi great pain. All the acupuncture points in his body were blocked, and he lost control of most of his body. After Hayashi finished pressing the acupoints, Fugaku started at 0 frame, picked up the whip beside him, and started whipping him. You're going to tell me or not? Tell me. Fugaku whipped Cloud Shinobi with a whip for every question he asked. You have to know that Fugaku is very strong, and his skin and flesh were torn apart with every hit. Brother, why the hell are you asking me? What do you want me to say? Fugaku snorted coldly. Humph, you're still throwing a tantrum at me. I gave you face. Fugaku said as he gave the Cloud Shinobi newbie 100 consecutive draws. After whipping the guy 100 times, he passed out from the pain, so Fugaku stopped. Walking up to Cloud Shinobi, the 3 Megatama in Fugaku's eyes instantly opened. He pulled open the man's eyelids, released a wave of small illusions, and directly read the guy's memory. Humph, Cloud Shinobi really isn't afraid of a fight. He actually wants to take our Uchiha and Hyaga's Kekii Genkai. Hayashi was furious when he heard the answer from Fugaku's memory search, so he asked the guards to get a basin of cold water to gently wake up the Cloud Shinobi. After being showered with cold water, the Cloud Shinobi shuddered, then gasped for air. Seeing Hayashi looking at him with a smile while holding a whip, he almost cried, "Brother, stop beating me, give me a quick death, I will confess everything." Fugaku sneered, "No need for that. We already know the whole story. Brother Hayashi, I'll leave this guy to you for now. I'll go capture the ambassador now." Hayashi made an okay sign, and after watching Fugaku leave, Hayashi began to give the Cloud Shinobi a new 100 draw streak. Hayashi's pumping was more sophisticated than Fugaku's. He pumped on some more painful acupuncture points, causing the guy to faint 3 or 4 times from the pain. In the end, the guy bit his own tongue, trying to commit suicide. Seeing the blood pouring out of Cloud Shinobi's mouth, the guards on the side were about to rescue him, but were stopped by Hayashi. "No need to save this country bumpkin. Doesn't he know that biting his tongue won't kill him? He must have read too many novels." Hearing Hayashi's merciless ridicule, the guy fainted again. Hayashi was ready to take a break and put down the whip. "Little brother, bring me a cup of tea." "Yes." The guards were a little frightened by the force of Hayashi's whip, and respectfully prepared a cup of green tea for Hayashi. "Yeah, not bad, thank you." Hayashi sipped his tea and took a break while waiting for this big idiot Cloud Shinobi to wake up. Meanwhile, outside the security team, Fugaku called 2 security squads and immediately set out to surround the Cloud Shinobi village diplomatic ambassador's house. "Listen up everyone inside. You've been surrounded. Come out and surrender immediately. This will guarantee your safe return to Cloud Shinobi village. Otherwise, we'll kill you without mercy." After arriving at the location, a security squad leader next to Fugaku shouted that the diplomatic ambassador inside was enjoying a foot massage service, and these foot massage technicians were brought by him from the land of thunder. He was startled by the shout from the person below and lost interest in having his feet massaged. He walked to the window and looked outside. Outside the window, he saw a group of Uchiha guards surrounding the reception center, shouting at him to go out and surrender. The ambassador was a little confused. What happened? Did they discover they were kidnapping a child? Just as he finished muttering to himself, the Cloud Shinobi ninjas who were camping out as planned came back. The captain of the group said respectfully and seriously, "Your Excellency the envoy, please remove the word 'could it be' from your previous statement. We have been discovered." Ambassador Cloud Shinobi, "Oh my god, this is the end." The matter of seizing the Byakugan was resolved while Cloud Shinobi was still confused. As a military advisor, Fugaku led Konoha's main army directly to the border to cause trouble. When Raikage AI saw that the matter was exposed, he immediately distanced himself from it, compensated Konoha with a generous sum of money, and made a public apology before the matter was dropped. As for Sasuke and Hinata, after hearing the news, they realized that the Cloud Shinobi ninja was not only a simple human trafficker, but also a villain who coveted their eyes. Previous next chapter 32 6th birthday transmigrated as Sasuke, Conversat. 32/253 advertisement. As the days passed, Sasuke gradually grew taller, and in the blink of an eye it was his 6th birthday. Sasuke got up very early today and was very happy because he finally didn't have to be taught by Mikoto every day. The main reason is that Mikoto is very strict in teaching. After this birthday, in about 10 days, Sasuke will be able to report to the ninja school. "Sasuke, have you informed your friends, there's a birthday party today?" Sasuke, wearing a grey short-sleeved shirt, ran to the bathroom to wash up thoroughly. After exiting the bathroom, Sasuke picked up the bread on the table and said to Mikoto, "Not yet, I'll go now, be careful." Mikoto watched Sasuke run out of the house, and couldn't help but sigh that his second son had grown up and reached the age to go to school. Time really doesn't spare anyone. Sasuke ran out of the house, went to the neighbor's house to inform his friends, and then immediately ran out of the family land. The first person to be notified was naturally our Hinata-chan. When she arrived at the gate of Hayashi's house, she found that the gate was wide open today. When I walked in, I saw Hinata swinging on the swing outside with a gift box in her arms. When she saw Sasuke coming, her face lit up and she ran towards Sasuke with the gift box in her hand. "Happy birthday, Susi-kun. This is the gift I prepared for you. This is what I made myself last night after being taught by Gaisang. I don't know if it tastes good. Sas, you should try it later." Sasuke was very touched. He didn't expect Hinata to remember his birthday. Thinking of this, I grinned at Hinata. "Thank you Hinata, I will definitely cherish it." Hinata blushed again when she heard Sasuke's thanks. "You're welcome." Sasuke closed the gift box and said to Hinata, remember to come to my house tonight and eat cake together. I'll go and notify the others first. Okay, Sas, I'll come tonight. After leaving Hinata's house, the next one to go was his good friend and brother, Naruto. When we arrived at Naruto's house, Naruto was eating instant noodles. He looked confused when he saw Sasuke coming over with a gift box. Sasuke, is today a special day? You prepared a gift for me. Oh Susie, today is your birthday. You see, I forgot about it. Blame me, blame me. Wait a minute, I will give you my most precious thing. Naruto smiled and touched his head. Sasuke wondered what that was, and saw Naruto run to the cupboard and pull out a bucket of very pretty-looking instant noodles. Naruto came over with instant noodles and handed them to Sasuke. Here Sasuke, this is a collector's edition instant noodles. I usually can't bear to eat it, so I'm giving it to you today. Sasuke took the instant noodles and thanked him. Thanks a lot. By the way, Naruto, do you want to come with me to inform the others? I've already told Hinata to come to my house tonight, but I haven't told the others yet. Naruto said, sure, I don't have anything to do. If you hadn't come today, I would have bought some paint to put on makeup for the rock statue uncles. Sasuke smiled and sat next to Naruto, chatting with him from time to time. Naruto quickly finished his instant noodles, changed his clothes and went out next. I went to Sakura's house and went to the security team to find Shisui-Nisan. After Sasuke and Naruto informed the two, they wandered around the streets. Sas, is there anyone else who hasn't been notified? Sasuke thought about it, but couldn't really think of anyone. Among the 12 young warriors of Konoha, he only knew Naruto, Sakura, and Hinata, and he hadn't met the others yet. Sasuke shook his head. Naruto quickly suggested when he saw that no one was around, how about we go call the third-generation grandfather? He's usually pretty nice to us. When Sasuke heard this, he thought Naruto's words made sense, and in the past 2 years, when Sasuke didn't understand something, he went to Sarutobi Hiruzen when Fugaku was not at home. Sarutobi Hiruzen was also very patient in answering Sasuke's questions. The two of them did as they said and immediately ran to the Hokage building. When they arrived at the Hokage's room, Sarutobi Hiruzen was still reviewing files, but he stopped working when he saw Naruto and Sasuke coming today. What's wrong, Susie, Nailyaduo, what's the matter with you coming to see Ji-chan today? Naruto walked over and chuckled, Grandpa third generation, today is Sasuke's birthday. We're here to invite you to a party at Sasuke's house tonight. Oh Sasuke's birthday. I didn't expect it to be so long ago. You guys are going to ninja school soon, right? The two nodded, and Sarutobi Hiruzen took out his old pipe, lit it, and took a few puffs. Okay, Grandpa will definitely be here tonight. Here, Sas. Remember to tell Fugaku-kun to bring out his good wine when you get back. Sasuke gave an okay sign and left the Hokage building with Naruto. After the two left, they went directly to Sasuke's house. When Mikoto saw Naruto coming, he took out some cakes and other things to treat Naruto. Naruto couldn't wait to pick up a piece of mung bean cake and took a bite, while Sasuke opened Hinata's biscuit box and tasted a piece. The taste was indeed good, crispy and not too sweet, just right. As the two of them ate snacks, Sasuke brought out Fugaku's Go board and played Gomaku with Naruto. Time passed slowly, and around 6 o'clock in the afternoon, Mikoto started cooking, and Sasuke's big cake also took the whole afternoon to finish. House. A few children played with statues in the backyard for a while. After more than half an hour, Shisui, Itachi, and Fugaku went home one after another. Then came some Uchiha elders, Hyuga Hayashi also came with Hinata's mother, and finally the last one was Sarutobi Hiruzen. Everyone was surprised to see Sarutobi Hiruzen coming. Sarutobi Hiruzen laughed while smoking a cigarette, ha ha ha, little Sasuke and little Naruto came to my place and called me, so I came. When the guests arrived, Hinata's mother went into the kitchen to help Mikoto cook to speed up the process. A few uncles and grandpas were drinking tea and chatting, while Itachi and Shisui sat on the steps in the backyard and watched Sasuke and the others play games. What a harmonious scene! After more than half an hour, Mikoto and Hinata's mother brought out all the dishes and shouted, it's time to eat. Hearing this, all the children outside ran into the house, and when they saw Sasuke's exclusive 3-layer cake, they all exclaimed with excitement. Sasuke looked at the cake and thought to himself that in his previous life he had always celebrated his birthday alone. Now that he had many relatives and friends by his side, his sense of happiness skyrocketed. Sasuke was in a daze. Itachi smiled and picked up a paper crown and placed it on Sasuke's head. Happy birthday, Sasuke. Nissan arigato. Thank you all for coming, let's start eating. The party started. Hinata and Naruto sat next to Sasuke, next to Naruto was little Sakura, and next to Hinata was Hinata's mother. Sasuke, it's your birthday today, anything to say? Fugaku asked Sasuke while sitting across from him with a smile on his face. After Fugaku said this, Sasuke stood up and bowed to everyone. Thank you all for coming to my 6th birthday. I'm very grateful. I don't have much to say. I just hope everyone can eat and drink well today. We need everyone to work together to move forward in the future. I also need everyone to take good care of me. Sasuke said, bowing once more. Mikoto handed Sasuke the cake knife. Here, Sasuke, come cut the cake for everyone. Sasuke took the knife and nodded vigorously, but the cake was in the middle and Sasuke couldn't reach it. Mikoto smiled, picked up Sasuke and brought him towards the cake. Sasuke picked up the knife and started cutting the cake from the top. The first piece Sasuke gave to Fugaku and Mikoto. Parents are the most important. They have worked very hard to raise us over the years. The first piece of cake must be given to them. Fugaku and Mikoto were also relieved to see Sasuke's actions. Sasuke cut the second piece and gave it to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Not only was he the Hokage, but he also taught Sasuke a lot of ninjutsu and life lessons on a daily basis, and he deserved respect. The third one is the elder of Uchiha. After all, he is the elder of the family, and then there are Mr. and Mrs. Hayashi. The fifth is Ataka Nissan and Shisui Nissan. After the adults finished distributing the food, Sasuke began to distribute it to the children. Sasuke picked a spot with lots of fruit and cut off a piece and handed it to Hinata. Then there is Naruto, little Sakura, and the Uchiha clan's friends. After the cakes were distributed, Sasuke cut a piece for himself, and the party officially began. Mikoto and Hinata's mother were also chatting about some interesting 8 trigrams and so on. Seeing them covering their mouths and giggling, it can be seen that they were having a great time chatting. Itaki and Shisui have been getting along better and better recently, and they are almost inseparable. At this time, the two of them were eating cake and chatting. As for Sasuke, Naruto took a bite and said, wow cool, so delicious. Aunt Mikoto's cooking is really good. Naruto said as he quickly took a few more bites. Sasuke smiled and said, it was necessary at the time. Gazan's cooking skills are definitely among the top 3 in Konoha. Proud face, sigh. Sass, show me. Naruto took a few quick bites, and immediately revealed his true purpose. He dipped 2 fingers into the cream on his cake and rubbed it against Sasuke's face. Out. The two of them got up and started running around the room, Sasuke and Naruto's faces turning into cat-like grins. After the two of them finished painting, they winked at each other and ran towards their friends with a smile. Naruto was like a god descending from heaven, chasing after several Uchiha friends and blowing on their faces. Little Sakura also couldn't escape Naruto's clutches. Sasuke didn't have the same playful attitude as them. He ran to Hinata with a wicked grin and wiped some on Hinata's face. Hinata blushed, Sasuke-kun, don't bully me. Hinata's cute look melted Sasuke's heart, and he immediately let Hinata go. Hinata chuckled when she saw Sasuke stopped applying cream on her face, and applied some cream on Sasuke's face. Alright Hinata, you're pretending to be pitiful, look at my 18 dragon subduing paintings. No, not really. Hinata and Sasuke also started to play pranks on each other. Hinata was originally a lady from a noble family with a gentle temperament, but now she has become a naughty and cute little girl. The children were tired from playing and lay down on the ground to rest, but children are full of energy and got up again after a while. After eating some food, everyone ran to the backyard to continue playing. The adults all smiled as they looked at their children, except Hayashi, who had a look on his face as if a cabbage had been eaten by a pig. He just watched Sasuke and Hinata's intimate interaction for a long time. Although it was just applying cream, why did it look so wrong to him? He was still lost in thought when Fugaku picked up his glass and clinked it with him. Brother Hayashi, let's have a drink. Huh? Oh. Come on, do it. The adults were talking about their children and the future, and since they were under a lot of pressure from work, they finally had a chance to release the stress, so they drank quite a bit and even sang together after getting drunk. After about 3 hours, the party finally came to an end. Sasuke reluctantly saw off little Sakura, Naruto, and Uchiha's friends at the door. There are also Uchiha elders' 3rd-generation members and others. Sasuke ignored the 2 drunk uncles and took Hinata to play on the swing in the backyard. About half an hour later, Hinata's mother called Hinata and the two of them had finished drinking. Sasuke waved, goodbye Hinata. Hinata turned around and waved back, goodbye, Sasuke-kun. After seeing off the last guest, Mikoto first sent Fugaku back to his room. Itaki and Shisui began to clean up the mess, and Sasuke went over to help, putting all the plates, bowls, chopsticks and other things in the kitchen, then handed them to each other, one washed them and the other put them in the cupboard. After Mikoto settled Fugaku, she was very pleased to see the 3 brothers helping her with the work. She picked up the rag and started to wipe the table. After cleaning the living room for more than half an hour, Sasuke was exhausted. He took a shower and then went to lie down in the bedroom. Looking at the ceiling, I called the dog system in my mind. System, is there any reward for my birthday today? Host, you finally remembered me. Where's my cake? Can you eat it if I give it to you? Sasuke was speechless. It seems impossible, so where's my gift? System Chan. Okay, choose one of 3 birthday gifts before the important milestone begins. Choice 1, Mount Mayaboku Immortal Art Training Qualification. Choice 2, Ryokai Cave Immortal Art Training Qualification. Choice 3, Qualifications for Practicing Wet Bone Forest Immortal Arts. Note, the age for learning Senjutsu is fixed after the host turns 12. After starting learning, you cannot return to Konoha. You will stay in the Holy Land for 3 years to practice until you reach perfect sage mode before returning to Konoha. Looking at the system prompt, Sasuke didn't expect the system to give him such a big gift. He didn't look at anything else and directly chose the Ryokai Cave Senjutsu. He had seen the fighting power of Sage Kabuto. If Itachi hadn't known Izanami, Sasuke and Itachi would have been difficult to defeat him at that time. It's just selection complete. Just let me know when you want to go to Ryokai Cave. It's getting late now, and I'm tired. Host, please go to bed early too. After seeing the system pop-up window disappear, Sasuke had nothing to do and stared at the ceiling in a daze, not knowing what he was thinking. Soon Shisui and Itachi came, made the bed, and since they were both very tired today, they said good night to each other and went to bed. After the two closed their eyes, they heard snoring after a while. Sasuke heard the snoring, yawned loudly, and slowly fell into a sweet dream. I can start the verifier tomorrow after I finish writing it. Thanks to the 2HXDS golden black flash in the dark, and this is the beginning, that is the end for accompanying me even before I had any traffic. After his birthday, Sasuke has been living a life of going back and forth between work and school. I get up and have breakfast at home in the morning, go out to play with Naruto, then go to play with Hinata in the afternoon, and go home in the evening. It wasn't until mid-August that the ninja school began recruiting students. Early this morning, Fugaku and Mikoto woke Sasuke up and changed him into new clothes, a blue short-sleeved shirt, white oversleeves, and white shorts. After changing clothes, Mikoto made a hearty breakfast of bread, fried dumplings, grilled fish, and miso soup. After Sasuke had a big meal, Mikoto put a small backpack on Sasuke's back and set off. Sasuke was very excited along the way and kept chatting with his parents. When they arrived at the gate of Konoha Shinobi School, there were many parents bringing their children to register. Sasuke looked left and right and saw Naruto standing on the swing. No one around him paid any attention to him and he looked very lonely. Sasuke trotted over and patted Naruto's shoulder. Hey, Naruto, what are you doing here? Naruto turned around and saw that it was Sasuke. His originally depressed expression instantly turned into a happy smile. Sasuke, you are here. Sasuke nodded and pulled Naruto over to Fugaku Mikoto. The two of them smiled and greeted Naruto when they saw him. After a while, Hayashi also came with Hinata, as well as little Sakura and her parents. Sasuke also saw a few people that others didn't know him, but he knew. For example, Ino, Koji, Shikamaru, Shino, Kiba, Niji who started school a year earlier than them, Rock Lee, and Tenten. This is the first time that the 12 young warriors of Konoha have met. Niji and the other two had already started studying and were not there to attend the opening ceremony. Instead, they were going to their own classrooms to wait for class. Hayashi brought Hinata over, and the three children gathered together to chat. After more than 10 minutes, someone shouted that the third-generation adults had arrived, and everyone made way. Sarutobi Hiruzen was seen walking towards them wearing a Hokage robe, followed by two Umbu ninjas with smiles on their faces. As they reached the school gate, Sarutobi Hiruzen coughed twice. Ahem, hello to all the new sprouts of Konoha. Today, you have reached school age. As the Hokage, I wish all the new budding students of Konoha good luck in their studies and prosperity in their martial arts. Sarutobi Hiruzen talked for almost half an hour before he finished, but there were actually not many people listening carefully. Not to mention others, the three children, Sa, Hinami, and Naruto, were just chatting together. Well, that's all I have to say. Now, everyone please bring your children to the registration office to register and be assigned to classes. School will start tomorrow. Oh, after the third generation finished speaking, they followed Umbu and left again. A teacher named Chinin was standing at the school gate organizing the order and lining up one by one to go in and register. More than half an hour had passed by the time Sasuke and the others signed up. After entering the school, according to the class number given by the registration teacher, Sasuke, Hinata, and Naruto were in the same class. When I ran to the classroom, many people were already seated, with their parents sitting next to them. Sasuke looked around and chose a seat in the last row with 3 empty seats. After the three of them sat down, Fugaku, Mikoto, and Hayashi stood behind the child and watched. After a wave of people came in one after another, the entire classroom was full, and a teacher named Chinin walked into the classroom. Sasuke saw that the man was also familiar. It was Irika. Irika walked up to the podium and clapped his hands. The classroom instantly became quiet and everyone looked at him. Hello students, welcome to my class. My name is Umino Irika, and I will be your head teacher for the next 6 years. You can always come to me if you need anything. After Irika finished the introduction, he looked at the children below and felt a little nervous. This was his first time teaching a class and he didn't know whether he could do it well. Well, before we officially start classes tomorrow, let's get to know each other. The little blonde-haired student, how about you introduce yourself first? Irika looked at Naruto, who was still confused and looked around. Sas, Irika CC, which yellow-haired classmate are you talking about? Sasuke pointed at Naruto, I'm talking to you, you big idiot. Naruto looked at the whole class and found that he was the only one with yellow hair. Standing up, Irika saw Naruto and was reminded of the Nine Tails rebellion, when his parents died at the hands of Nine Tails. For some reason, when he saw Naruto, he didn't feel hatred, but rather a sense of sympathy. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, I like to eat Ichiraku ramen, and my future dream is to become Hokage. Naruto spoke with great vigor, and the parents who disliked Naruto looked at him with disdain, and then told their children to play less with this little yellow-haired boy. Next. Irika said as he watched people being called out. After Naruto sat down, he looked at Sasuke and Hinata and chuckled and said, Hey, Sasuke, Hinata, what do you think of what I just said? Sasuke gave a thumbs up, that's cool. Hinata nodded beside him, that's very well said, Naruto-kun. Naruto rubbed his head after receiving the compliment, it's not as good as you said. The three kids started chatting again. Irika called out a dozen names and finally saw Sasuke who was chatting happily. The student next to Uzumaki Naruto, could you please introduce yourself? Sasuke nodded and stood up, and some of the little girls below immediately looked over. It was really troublesome for a little girl like him to attract people. Sasuke's introduction was brief and clear, and he sat down after that. Irika nodded, glanced at Fugaku and Mikoto behind Sasuke, then looked at Hyuga Hayashi next to him. Wow, there are quite a few second-generation officials in his class. Then next, please ask the girl next to Sasuke to introduce herself. Hinata was a little shy when she heard someone calling her. Sasuke gave Hinata an encouraging look, and Hinata took a deep breath and stood up. My name is Hyuga Hinata. I like to eat a lot of things, but I hate those nasty little bugs. Shino, detecting the elements. Okay, please take a seat. After listening to Hinata's self-introduction, Irika CC started to call on other people. Hinata sat down and took a few deep breaths before she felt a little more comfortable. She was really shy in front of people she didn't know. After 40 to 50 minutes of self-introduction, it was finally over. Irika told everyone that they had to be at school before 8 o'clock tomorrow morning and then dispersed. When they disbanded, Fugaku suggested that they go out for a meal together. Hayashi's relationship with Fugaku had improved a lot since the last time they beat up Cloud Shinobi and drank together. They often played chess, chatted, and had a drink together. Hayashi nodded, okay, where are you going, Fugaku-san? Fugaku glanced at Sasuke, who thought about how it had been a while since Naruto was overjoyed when he heard about the barbecue. After leaving school, the group went straight to the barbecue restaurant. When ordering, the three little ones each ordered an ice cream sundae and ate it with a spoon. The barbecue was served soon, and the three little ones devoured it in no time. Of course, Hinata was a bit more gentle in her eating, but she had a big appetite. Sasuke wasn't surprised to think that Hinata would be at the top of the list of Ichiraku ramen's biggest eaters in the future. But Sasuke was curious about why Hinata didn't gain weight if she ate so much. After thinking about it, he came to the conclusion that the food Hinata ate grew where it should grow. After finishing their meal, the three children drank a glass of juice, told their parents they were going out to play, and then ran away. The three of them went to the park and played hard all afternoon until the sun set, then they went home separately. After arriving home, Sasuke put down his bag and saw Itachi playing with a kunao in the living room. When Sasuke came back, Itachi waved at him. Sasuke was puzzled and ran over happily. Nissen, what's wrong? Itachi smiled and handed the kunao to Sasuke. Here, Sasuke, this is a back-to-school gift I prepared for you. Do you like it? Sasuke grinned when he heard it. I like Nissan the most. After saying that, Sasuke ran to Itachi's arms and acted coquettishly. Itachi also busy in the guard team recently and has not really spent much time with Sasuke. After dinner in the evening, Itachi and Sasuke went to train outside in the yard. After the training, Itachi gave Sasuke a bath, and then the two brothers went back to their room to sleep. Chapter 35, Riding an Old Lady Across the Road. I'm going out. Sasuke ran out of the house with a piece of bread in his mouth and a small bag on his back. Be careful on the road, Sasuke. Mikoto reminded from behind. Sasuke waved his hand and ran some distance away. This kid. Mikoto smiled helplessly and went back to the house to have breakfast. The air in Konoha was fresh in the morning. Sasuke did not go to school immediately because it was still early. He ran to Naruto's house first. It was well known that Naruto was often late in the morning, so he had to be called. He ran to Naruto's door and banged on it. After a while, a lazy voice came from inside. Who is it? I finally dreamed of crying last night. Hey, Naruto rubbed his eyes and opened the door. He was now in his pajamas and his face was bleary-eyed. Naruto, don't sleep. You have to go to school today. It's embarrassing to be late on the first day of school. Sasuke walked into the room, and Naruto shuddered when he heard what Sasuke said. That's right. I have to go to school today. Sasuke, please make me some noodles while I go wash up first. Naruto threw away his nightcap and immediately ran to the bathroom, the sound of water rushing out. Sasuke had no choice but to go to the kettle. There was still some water in the kettle. After boiling the water, Sasuke went to Naruto's cabinet and rummaged around for a long time, only to find that many instant noodles had expired. Finally, I found one that was about to expire in the pile of instant noodles and opened it to make some. Naruto, why are you still leaving these expired instant noodles? In the bathroom, Naruto's voice came out, oh, I can't bear to throw it away. Sasuke rolled his eyes, gathered all of Naruto's expired instant noodles and milk together, then found a big bag and threw them in to throw away later. Naruto washed up in there for about 10 minutes, and when he came out, it was discovered that Naruto had taken a shower. Naruto, if you're any later the noodles will get soaked. Ah, it's okay, it tastes better when it's soft. After that, Naruto sat on the bench, looked down, and saw a large bag of expired instant noodles on the ground. Naruto stared at Sasuke with wide eyes. Sasuke, what are you doing to my instant noodles? Sasuke rubbed his forehead speechlessly. No, these instant noodles are expired and will give you diarrhea if you eat them. So, you should eat less instant noodles from now on. Tell me what you want to eat, and I'll ask my mom to make it and invite you to eat together. Naruto was very moved by what Sasuke said. Really? Sasuke, woohoo, you are so nice to me. Sasuke wiped his nose and smiled slightly. That's right, so what do you want to eat? Naruto opened the instant noodles and took a sip. He thought for a while and then said, curry. Sasuke gave an okay sign. No problem, eat quickly, and then we'll go to school. Naruto was very happy when he heard that there would be curry for dinner. He quickly finished his noodles and ran to the closet to take out an orange sportswear and orange trousers. This outfit is so classic, it's exactly what Naruto wore when he first appeared. After changing his clothes and putting on his shoes, Sasuke picked up his small bag and keys, and went out with the expired instant noodles and milk. While throwing away the garbage, Naruto was a little reluctant to throw away the instant noodles, but he forgot about it after a while. The two of them talked and laughed, discussing what to do tonight. As they were chatting, just as they were about to cross a street, they saw an old lady hunching over as she tried to cross. The two men were about to go and help, but before they arrived, they saw a young man go over and say something to the old lady. It was too far away for the two of them to hear clearly. They just saw the old lady nodded, and the young man supported her and was about to move forward when the accident happened. The young man quickly climbed onto the old lady's back and laughed. Sasuke curled his lips when he saw this operation. What a great way to make an old lady ride across the road. It's so abstract. Naruto couldn't stand this and ran over and yelled, what are you doing? Get down. The young man glanced at Naruto and snorted disdainfully, go play somewhere else, kid. After saying that, he patted the old lady on the shoulder and said, come on, cross the road. Naruto, you damned fellow, you actually bullied an old lady. Watch me. Then Naruto formed seals with his hands, wind style, great breakthrough. A gust of wind suddenly blew towards the young man. The young man was stunned and then blown to the ground. Damn you guys, who asked you to meddle in other people's business? The young man was obviously not convinced, and he suddenly got up and saw that the forehead protector on his head was actually a genin. Little devil, I'll let you know how powerful I am. After saying that, he immediately took out a kunai from his waist. Sasuke saw this and thought, did Naruto ask me before bullying my good brother? Thinking of this, Sasuke ran over quickly, and his three Megatama eyes suddenly opened. Before the man could react, his eyes met Sasuke's three Megatama and he froze in place. Sasuke cast a small illusion on him. The content of the illusion was that he was being whipped by a big sister in black stockings. This stimulated the boy so much that he screamed and howled in the street, saying things like harder. The security patrol also spotted him when they passed by here. They saw that this man was under the influence of an illusion and saw Sasuke beside him. Master Sasuke, what is this? Sasuke puffed his cheeks, hey uncles, this guy tried to ride an old lady across the street, and we saw him. Naruto stopped him, and he tried to hit us, but I used the Sharingan to cast an illusion to control him. When the guards heard this, they looked at the guy posing in a coquettish manner with a constipated look on their faces. The patrol team's squad leader waved his hand and said, take him away, take him away. This guy is a disgrace to the village. Take him back and lock him up for a few days. After saying that, two guards took him away without saying a word. At this time, the illusion was also broken, and he was a little confused to see that he was caught. The guy looked around, and everyone thought he was going to ask why he was arrested, but he blurted out, "Where is my sexy big sister with black stockings, long legs and a mask?" After saying that, he winked at the old lady for some unknown reason. This made the guards very sick and they took him away immediately. "Thank you both." The old lady looked at Naruto and Sasuke tenderly. Naruto touched his head, looking happy. "Nothing, I am going to be the Hokage in the future. If I don't help an old lady who is being bullied, how can I become the Hokage in the future?" Sasuke nodded. Yeah. Okay, come here, two little Hokages, grandma will give you each a lollipop as a thank you." The two of them refused at first, but finally accepted it. The two men helped the old lady over and said goodbye to her. "After all, I'm almost late. This is the first day of school, and being late will easily affect the teacher's opinion of me." The two ran faster and faster, and when they arrived at the school, the bell for class rang. The two ran into the school gate and rushed to the door of their classroom. Irika CC was already waiting at the door. When he saw the two of them coming, he slowly walked over and asked, "Naruto, Sasuke, why are you two here so late?" The two of them chuckled and said in unison, "Let's go help the old lady cross the street." Irika looked skeptical, but seeing the two children's sincere expressions, he nodded. "Okay, please come in. We just assigned the seats, and there are only 2 spots left in the last row. Go ahead, and don't be late." Sasuke and Naruto didn't care, nodded, and walked into the last row of the classroom. Shikamaru with the hedgehog hair sat in the innermost of the 3 seats. Sasuke glanced at Hinata's seat and saw that she was sitting in the first row with little Sakura and another female classmate. Okay, now that everyone is here, let's start the roll call." A few days before school started, Sasuke, Naruto, and Shikamaru's row of 3 were listening attentively in class. Later, Irika CC talked about some Konoha history or something, but Sasuke found it boring and took the lead in sleeping in class. Shikamaru also felt that this course was boring. His father had already taught him many of the knowledge points, so it didn't matter whether he learned them or not. As for Naruto, between the two, he was just bored in class. After the legendary story of the 3 of them sleeping together spread throughout the ninja school, everyone jokingly called them the Sleeping Sunin. Irika CC was originally in charge of these 3, but Sasuke and Shikamaru basically answered any questions immediately, which made Irika CC feel helpless. Finally, Naruto was asked, but he knew nothing about anything. Irika found an opportunity to scold him and arranged for him to sit next to the podium of the king's throne. During the lunch break at noon that day, the Sunin also gathered together to sleep. "Ah Sasage, Shikamaru, you two are so abominable. You must have been studying secretly behind my back. Why can you answer all the questions about Irika CC?" Sasuke picked up the rice ball from his lunchbox and took a bite. "This isn't that hard. We're still freshmen, and we're only learning Konoha's history and stuff. If we just memorize it, won't we all learn it?" After Sasuke finished speaking, Shikamaru ate a bite of his mother's fried meatballs and added, "Yeah, there are many ways. If you have nothing to do, just read more books. If you really can't do it, ask Sasuke to tutor you." After hearing the two's answers, Naruto snorted and sat down next to Sasuke and opened his lunchbox. Oh. Sasuke didn't care and nodded. Naruto happily hugged Sasuke's arm. "Arigato Sasuke, you are so good to me. Go away, that's too corny. Just pay attention to the lessons while you're studying next to Irika CC. If you don't understand anything at night, feel free to ask me." After the meal, the 3 of them went their separate ways to play their own games. Sasuke naturally went to play with Hinata, Shikamaru slept on the spot, and Naruto ran off to who knows where. The afternoon bell rang and everyone returned to the classroom. Irika CC walked into the classroom, clapped his hands, and coughed, "Ahem, classmates, be quiet, I have good news to announce." After Irika finished speaking, the noisy chatter in the classroom died down. "Look, everyone, when you go home today, please ask your parents to prepare some camping gear for you. Tomorrow, our school has an extracurricular activity, and we are taking you camping to develop life skills." Before Irika could finish, the students below shouted, "Hooray!" Sasuke didn't care. He felt that it didn't matter where he went, so he might as well play in the classroom. After all, autumn mosquitoes were very fierce. The classroom was noisy for a while and then quieted down. Irika maintained order and started the class. After school in the evening, Sasuke returned home with Naruto after dropping Hinata off. After arriving home, Sasuke told Mikoto about the camping trip and Mikoto nodded, "Okay, I'll have it ready for you guys tomorrow morning." After talking about this, they started to eat dinner and do their homework. Sasuke and Naruto chatted for a while and then Naruto went home. The next morning, Naruto ran over while Sasuke was still sleeping. Get up. We're going camping today." Sasuke rubbed his eyes and was speechless when he saw that it was only a little after 6 o'clock. Usually he was the one who woke up and called Naruto, but he didn't expect that Naruto would be so active today when they had no classes and went out to play. Okay, get up. Sasuke stretched, stood up, quickly dressed, washed up and had breakfast. Mikoto got up even earlier today to prepare tools and lunch and dinner for the two of them. As for Sasuke and Naruto, after breakfast they sat in the backyard and stared at the birds in the sky. Sass, why do birds fly? Why can birds fly? Let me think about it. According to biology, bird ancestors spent countless years evolving this ability to avoid natural enemies on land. For example, the predecessors of pterosaurs during the dinosaur era. Sasuke explained science to Naruto for a long time, and Naruto was confused. There is so much more to say? Sasuke finished his words with great effort and walked to the living room to drink some water. Also, this bird doesn't take off entirely with the help of its wings, but with the wind. This is what I want to talk about. Naruto's head was itching after hearing what Sasuke said. Oh no, it's time to learn something new. Sasuke finished answering Naruto's question, and Mikoto had already prepared 2 large bags. Sasuke and Naruto didn't feel the weight of the suitcases on their backs, which were taller than their heads. On the way, Sasuke was still talking to Naruto about why birds can fly. Naruto covered his ears and swore in his heart that he would never ask Sasuke questions about birds again. When we arrived at school, many students had their suitcases carried by their parents, and there were only a few who came by themselves like Naruto Sasuke. Shikamaru is one of them, and there is also Koji eating potato chips and Shino playing with insects. Walking into the classroom, the two put their things down. Naruto looked around, and Sasuke was puzzled. Who are you looking for? Sass, have you seen Sakura-chan? Sasuke also looked around, but didn't see Haruno Sakura. He shouldn't be here yet. Please help me with the luggage. I'm going to go play with Hinata. Naruto said oh, and Sasuke ran to the first row where Hinata was and started talking and laughing with Hinata. At 8 o'clock sharp, the bell for class rang. Irika CC walked into the classroom first, followed by little Sakura and Ino. The two of them were really good friends since childhood, and they were always late. When everyone arrived, Irika CC first looked around and then called out the names to confirm that everyone was there, and then began to talk about the precautions for camping. Everyone, we'll go out and line up later. Be careful not to fall behind. Hey Law, please be careful at the back of the line when the time comes. Okay, Irika CC. Hinata nodded. This was also because Irika CC took care of her. Hinata was the weaker one in the whole class. If she was in the middle of the team, she would fall down because she walked too fast and caused a stampede. Seeing Hinata nod, Irika continued, we're heading to a small lake in Konoha Forest this time. When you arrive at your location, you need to report to me where you've been. And you can't go more than 10 meters away from the camp. There are big wild boars in that forest. Let me tell you, those big wild boars love to eat tender children like you. Irika made a face after he finished speaking. Some classmates were really scared by this statement. Sasuke and Shikamaru next to him didn't care. They both liked quiet personalities. After arriving at the place, they would probably find a place to sit and stare blankly for a while. Don't worry, classmates, your future Hokage will protect you. Naruto yelled excitedly but was slammed on the head by Irika-sensei. Baka, just be quiet. Irika continued to talk about the precautions for a while, and seeing that it was getting late, he clapped his hands and said, okay everyone, let's go. Teacher Irika announced the departure, and the entire class lined up outside the school with their belongings. Sasuke volunteered to sit in the last row with Hinata, saying that he could help if Hinata couldn't carry her bag. Irika CC thought about it and agreed. As for Naruto, he didn't follow Sasuke, but ran to little Sakura and chatted with her with a playful smile. The journey went smoothly. Sasuke saw that Hinata was a little tired and started to help her with her luggage, which made Hinata feel a little embarrassed. Hinata, do you need me to help you set up the tent? Sasuke walked over to Hinata and said with a smile. Hinata blushed and nodded, thank you so much, Sass. I'll give you a portion of my lunchbox later. Sasuke gave an okay sign, and the two of them found a spot 3 meters away from the lake. Sasuke took the lead in dismantling Hinata's tent. After it was stretched out, he took the tent nails and hammer and nailed the 4 corners to the ground. It sounds simple, but Sasuke wasted more than half an hour on this tent. Open the zipper door of the tent and help Hinata take out all the necessary items such as the sleeping bag from the bag and put them in place. After doing all this, Sasuke started to set up his own tent, and Hinata helped him. The two of them talked and laughed as they set up the tent and spread the picnic mat on the ground. Sasuke took out all the juice and snacks that Mikoto had prepared for him. Hinata did the same. The two of them took turns eating snacks and looking at the scenery. After chatting for a while, teacher Irika checked around to see which tent needed help. Seeing that everyone was seated, Irika nodded with satisfaction, okay, everyone can form teams and move around on their own. Remember not to run into the woods or into deep water. It's so boring. Hinata, do you have any activities? Sasuke yawned in boredom. Hinata shook her head. She didn't know what to do now, but she felt that nothing was boring when she was with Sasuke-kun. Of course, she wouldn't say it so bluntly. Sasuke looked around and saw bubbles on the lake, which must be fish, and this gave him an idea. Sasuke ran to the edge of the woods and found a branch, then ran back and took out a bottle of carbonated drink from his bag. After opening the lid, Sasuke picked up a stone nearby and broke a small hole in the ring pull of the can. Then he pulled it open to make it into the shape of a fish hook and polished it on the stone. Hinata squatted next to Sasuke and watched. Hinata carefully observed Sasuke's operation with a little curiosity. Sasuke, are you going to fish? Sasuke looked at Hinata's cute appearance and honestly didn't want her to do anything, for fear that she would be tired. But since they were camping and she didn't want to do anything, he was afraid that Hinata would be bored, so he found her an easy job. Hinata, could you help me dig up a few earthworms? Hinata nodded. Okay. Hinata ran to look for earthworms under the tree, and Sasuke continued to grind. After grinding for a while and seeing that it was almost done, he took off the bandage on his leg, tied the pole ring fish hook tightly, and tied the other end to the branch. A simple fishing rod was made. Sasuke was afraid that the bandage would not work, so he used the twisting method to increase its toughness. After Sasuke finished his work, Hinata also caught some earthworms from under the stone at the root of the tree. Here, is this enough? After doing all this, the two of them sat by and waited for the fish to bite. When Irika passed by, he saw two children fishing there and thought it was interesting. He coughed, picked up a small stool and walked over. Hila, are you guys fishing? Irika CC came over and said hello. Sasuke nodded. Hinata made a shushing gesture and whispered to Irika CC, keep your voice down. The fish will be scared away. Irika laughed silently, and when he saw Sasuke's equipment, he found it hard to believe that this thing could be used for fishing. Irika ran back to his tent and got a bucket, and then his fishing rod and bait. He had brought some equipment with him, intending to catch some fish and grill them for everyone at noon. Now that he had two students to accompany him, he could also show off his kamui skills. Irika coughed, filled the bucket with water, adjusted the fishing rod, made a nest, and put bait on the hook. All his movements were very professional. He looked at Sasuke with a little pride, thinking that Sasuke and Hinata would praise him with little hearts in their eyes and say that Irika CC was really amazing. As a result, he was disappointed. He saw Sasuke's broken rod was pulled by something and a fish was caught. Sasuke and Hinata were both very excited. Sasuke stood in a horse stance and started pulling. The fish in the water felt the pull and struggled desperately. Sasuke was a little naughty boy in his previous life, so he had naturally played fishing and other things. Hinata shouted encouragement from the side. Motivated by Hinata's encouragement, Sasuke slid slightly in the direction of the fish, then pulled it up suddenly when he wasn't paying attention. After a few times, Sasuke finally caught a sori as long as Hinata's arm. SAS is so awesome. Hinata looked at Sasuke with admiration. Sasuke wiped his nose and started to brag, it's no big deal. Hinata, did you bring a bucket? Can I have a basin? Sasuke hummed, and Hinata immediately ran back to her tent and brought over a basin. After filling up the water, Sasuke took the fish off the hook and placed it in the basin. Thinking of this, Irika was not willing to be outdone. He swung his rod, cast the line and waited for the fish to take the bait. The two of them went fishing here early in the morning, and Irika CC caught a few very small sori, about the size of Sasuke's palm. Sasuke caught 3 big fish, which completely shattered the dignity of Irika CC, the veteran fisherman. SAS is so awesome. Hinata digging earthworms can be considered as participating in fishing, so she is very happy. Sometimes Sasuke is afraid that Hinata will be bored, so he lets her hold the fishing rod and teaches her how to fish. Hinata hugged Sasuke's arm, and Sasuke smiled and touched his head, it's not that great, he. The two were talking and laughing. Sasuke looked at Irika CC's little fish and Irika's face full of doubt about life and tried not to laugh. Irika CC, can you help me with the fish? Sasuke walked over with the basin. Irika looked at the fish in the basin and nodded, okay. But, Sasuke, I want to challenge you to another fishing duel this afternoon. I don't accept it. Sasuke pouted, okay actually, what Sasuke wants to say is, if you are not good at it, just practice more. Good. The two of them sat by the lake and watched the scenery for a long time without saying a word. The breeze blew on their faces, blowing their hair. Feeling the cool autumn wind, the whole person relaxed a lot. This camping trip was really happy. Life in the ninja school was fine at first, but it became more and more boring later on, and the only ninjutsu the teacher taught was the 3-body technique. Then there are shuriken techniques, simple physical techniques, and some tips for controlling chakra. It was natural for a new student to study very seriously, but for Sasuke it was like a college student attending a kindergarten class. He currently has the 3 Tomo Sharingan and knows a lot of fire-style ninjutsu, and he is guaranteed to pass the Chunin exam, but Sasuke has not applied to become a genin now. The main reason is that he is afraid of messing up the plot and not knowing which class to be assigned to. It is better for him to be in the same class with Naruto, Sakura, and Kakashi according to the original plot. Nowadays, Sasuke cultivates his relationship with Hinata, improves his ninjutsu, and occasionally challenges Itachi to spar. Time passed slowly, spring went and autumn came, autumn left and winter came, year after year, Sasuke grew taller, and his personality was no longer as soft and cute as when he was a child. In the 59th year of Konoha, Sasuke was 11 years old, and only 1 year of peaceful days remained. That day, during class, Irika made an announcement, "Dear students, we have been studying for a long time. Today, our class will also have a small test, a practical sparring session, and we will choose our opponents by drawing lots. During the battle, everyone, please be patient. Friendship comes first, testing comes second. Okay, I won't say too much for now. Please prepare yourself." After saying that, Irika CC left the classroom. The classroom was noisy the moment they left. Shikamaru, who was next to Sasuke, slumped over the table with a tired look on his face. Tisk, what a hassle. He always looked listless, with dark circles under his eyes. Sasuke had been used to it for a few years, but he still couldn't help but ask, "Shikamaru, are you suffering from kidney deficiency?" Shikamaru looked confused. "Huh? What did Sas tell you?" Sasuke pointed at his eyelids. "I heard from some of the ladies in Uchiha that the weak, and has dark circles under his eyes, just like the audience in front of the screen, funny. You have it all right now." Shikamaru smiled nonchalantly, "Really, Sasuke, don't listen to the aunties and grandmas. I'm just reading at home at night and I don't have the energy in the morning." Sasuke gave him a look of "You're the best" and didn't say anything more. While they were chatting, Naruto ran over from his seat and sat next to Sasuke. "Sasuke, come and fight me later." "Okay, if you hit me later, you'll be spanked, you big idiot." Naruto's current strength is indeed not that good. The only ninjutsu he can show off are transformation technique, wind style great breakthrough, and seduction technique. But in a year, when Naruto is bewitched by Mizuki to steal the Book of Seals, should he go too? After all, the forbidden techniques mentioned above are not simple. Shadow clone technique is relatively simple. There are also Flying Thunder God, Shiki Fusion, Impure World Reincarnation, etc. Sasuke was lost in thought as he thought about it. After more than half an hour, Irika came back and organized everyone to gather in the playground. On the playground, Sasuke stood next to Hinata and asked, "Hinata-chan, are your Byakugan open yet?" Hinata nodded aside, "Soga, I really want to spar with you later." "Me too. I've been training very hard lately." "Sas, sir." The two of them were chatting here. Irika was explaining the rules of the game in front. Both taijutsu and ninjutsu can be used, but they need to be done to a certain extent and not to actually hurt anyone. "Okay, let's start drawing lots." Irika took a small box and pulled out 2 slips of paper. The first match is Yamashiro Beisha vs Umino Hisaji. After the roll call, 2 people walked out of the team and made opposing signs. "Okay, let's get started." At Irika's command, the 2 men took out their kunao and began to fight each other. Nowadays, even genin doesn't fight with each other, most of the time they use fists and kicks. These 2 are like that. It looks like they are fighting fiercely, but in Sasuke's eyes, it's just like a fight between children. In the end, it was Hisaji Umino who found Yamashiro Beisha's weakness and took him down in one fell swoop. The following battles were the same, and Hinata's duel also ended, but not with Sasuke, but with Shikamaru. When Shikamaru saw that his opponent was a girl, he surrendered without any fighting spirit. After all, this was not a formal competition and he really didn't want to put in any effort. Next group, Uzumaki Naruto vs. "Oh, it's finally my turn, Lord Uzumaki Naruto." Naruto looked at Irika CC excitedly. "Uchiha Sasuke." "Oh yeah. Sas, it's finally our turn to fight." Sasuke smiled faintly and walked out of the group. "Yeah, super idiot, you better be careful." The 2 walked to the middle of the playground, formed the opposing seal, and after Irika said start, the 2 quickly moved apart. Naruto took out 3 shurikens from the bag on his waist, while Sasuke calmly picked up 3 stones from the ground. "Sas, take that. Ninja technique, throw all the shuriken out." Naruto threw 3 shurikens in his hand, and Sasuke quickly threw 3 stones, which collided with each other and fell to the ground. But this is not the end. Naruto's 3 shurikens were just a feint. Naruto took out all the shurikens in his bag and threw them at Sasuke. Sasuke didn't panic either, and formed a tiger seal with his hands. Tiger seal? Susi actually learned fire-style ninjutsu at the age of 11. Irika watched in anticipation as Sasuke quickly formed a seal. Once all 5 were complete, Sasuke placed a hand in front of his mouth, fire style, great fireball technique. A ball of fire erupted, causing the students present to gasp in amazement. Even Irika froze for a moment, thinking, as expected of a genius from the Uchiha, the great fireball collided with these shurikens, and these shurikens were suppressed by the pressure of the fireball and fell to the ground. The great fireball did not really hit Naruto, but Sasuke put it away after dealing with the shurikens. After the two of them tested each other, they quickly moved closer and started punching and kicking each other. Naruto's physical skills were not very strong, and Sasuke could easily break through his whip kicks and uppercuts. The two of them were fighting faster and faster, and Sasuke threw a left hook at Naruto, who leaned back to avoid it. But Sasuke's punch was a complete feint. Seeing Naruto dodge, Sasuke quickly ran behind Naruto and made the tiger, seal with both hands again. Irika's eyes widened, thinking that Sasuke was going to use the great fireball to attack Naruto again. Naruto also turned around in fear, and Sasuke smiled slightly, Konoha Taijutsu secret technique. 1000 Years of Death. Naruto, who was originally terrified, was directly stabbed away by Sasuke's critical attack, making Naruto feel the power of 1000 Years of Death a year in advance. However, this move also left a shadow on Naruto, and he vowed that no one with the tiger seal would stand behind him. Everyone was speechless when they saw this dramatic scene. Some male classmates covered their buttocks in pain after seeing Naruto being hit by this move, as if they were the ones who were hit. Irika next to him also looked constipated. The game is over, Sasuke wins, both sides make the seal of reconciliation. Sasuke smiled and clapped his hands as he walked over to help Naruto up. Naruto was filled with shame and indignation. Damn Sasuke, you actually learned such a powerful taijutsu. Why didn't you teach me? Sasuke chuckled and reached out to touch Naruto's forehead. Forgive me for being so rude. Maybe next time. 60th year of Konoha, the countdown to this ordinary school life begins. At the end of June this year, the school began its graduation exams. Sasuke washed his face early in the morning and felt much more energetic. Itachi did not go to the guard team this morning, but prepared to send Sasuke to school. Nissen, let's go. It's getting late. Sasuke stretched out at the door of his house, waiting for Itachi. Here I come. Itachi walked to the door and put on his shoes, then took Sasuke's bag. Let's go. The two left home, and along the way Itachi asked Sasuke if he had confidence in the exam. Sasuke smiled confidently and gave a thumbs up. Of course I didn't have breakfast at home today, so Itachi said he would treat Sasuke to a good meal today, and Sasuke was naturally happy to do so. The two walked on the street. It was quite noisy this morning. After all, there were many children of Sasuke's generation, and many parents took their children to have a good meal early in the morning. Itachi took Sasuke to Ichiraku Ramen, ordered a bowl of pork bone miso ramen for Sasuke, and ordered one for himself, and the two brothers ate like that. Looking at the squinting-eyed Uncle Ichiraku, Sasuke slurped his noodles and thought about an interesting speculation from his previous life, Atsutsuki Ichiraku. Sasuke thought about this and took a big mouthful of noodles and asked, Uncle Ichiraku, why are you cooking noodles with your eyes closed? Won't you be unable to see the seasoning clearly? Ichiraku, who was making noodles, smiled awkwardly when he heard Sasuke's question. Ah ha ha ha, no, uncle, my eyes are always open, but they are a little small. After saying that, Uncle Ichiraku's eyes widened, and you could barely see his eyeballs. They were indeed normal eyes, not the Rinnegan as everyone had guessed. After finishing the noodles, Sasuke ate the meat slices and side dishes on top, picked up the bowl and took a big gulp of the soup, feeling warm in his stomach. After dropping him off at the school gate, Sasuke waved to Itachi, Nissan, go get some work. I don't need any company here. Itachi hummed, okay, Sas, what do you want to eat tonight? I'll go back and talk to Gaesang then. Sasuke thought carefully for a moment and said, I like everything that Gaesang makes. It doesn't matter. Well, I'll go in first. Well, go ahead and do well in the exam and get a good grade. Sasuke nodded and entered the school. When he arrived at the classroom, many of his classmates were sitting in their seats, looking very excited. Sasuke returned to his seat and sat down. Shikamaru next to him was still as listless as usual, as if this graduation exam was just a formality. Sasuke Naruto quickly ran over when he saw Sasuke coming. What's up Naruto? Aw Sas, after we pass the exams, can we be in the same class? Sasuke thought about it carefully, I think so. Classes are divided according to overall ability, so I can't say for sure. After that, Naruto chatted with Sasuke about what to do during the holidays. The morning bell rang and Irika entered the classroom with a stack of test papers in his hand. Students, please return to your seats. Irika gave an order and all the students quickly took their seats. Well, today is also the graduation exam. Everyone must answer the exam carefully after receiving the test paper. There is plenty of time. It starts at 8 o'clock and ends at 11 o'clock. The bell has rung now and the test papers have been distributed. The first row should take their papers and pass them to the back. After Irika distributed the test papers to the first row, he passed one to each person in the back row. After everyone received the papers, the exam officially began. Sasuke looked at the test paper. The questions were very simple, such as the history of Konoha, some ninjutsu seals, chakra control techniques and so on. Sasuke picked up a pen, wrote his name, glanced at the question, and began to answer. In more than half an hour, Sasuke finished all 10 questions on the test paper. After finishing, Sasuke checked them. Shikamaru next to him also finished. After handing in the paper together, they fell asleep on the table. Irika also got the test papers to be corrected on the spot. Time passed slowly, and the bell rang to signal the end of the exam. Irika collected the papers and let everyone rest. Sasuke rubbed his eyes, sat up and yawned. Sas, what's your 10th question? Hinata walked over to Sasuke and asked. Sasuke sat a little further inside and motioned Hinata to sit, and the two began to compare answers. After a while, Naruto also came. After hearing the two of them checking their answers, he found that he had made 2 or 3 mistakes, but it was still okay and he would definitely pass. After lunch break at around 1 p.m., Irika came to distribute the test papers. All of them passed, and many of them got full marks, including Sasuke, Shikamaru, Sakura, Hinata, Shino, and 2 or 3 other students. It was also unexpected that Naruto scored 91 points, as he actually got the questions right when he thought he got them wrong. Okay, it seems like everyone in our class has been studying hard. The next exam is at 3 p.m. in room 201. The test is transformation technique and clone technique. Don't be late. Naruto felt a bit embarrassed when he heard about the clone technique test. He was not very good at clone technique, and the clone that came out was just a weird-looking person plus his clothes. Sas, please give me some advice. I'm really worried about the clone technique test. Sasuke smiled and said to Naruto, sure, but you have to buy me tomato juice tonight. Reasons. Sasuke and Naruto went out together, and Sasuke slowly explained the essentials of the clone technique to Naruto. Naruto said he understood but the actual results were the same as before. The exam started at 3 o'clock, and Naruto had no choice but to go to classroom 201 with Sasuke. When we arrived, the previous class had just finished their exams and students from Irika's class also arrived one after another. After 2 or 3 minutes everyone arrived, and the invigilators were Irika and Mizuki. The exam was conducted one by one according to roll call. There was a forehead protector on the table, and as long as you did the job well, you would be given the prize. Arrive. Let's get started. The test is to use the transformation technique to transform into Irika, Mizuki, or anyone else, as long as they are human. Clone technique is considered to have passed as long as you have a clone that is exactly the same as yourself. Soon it was Sasuke's turn. Sasuke quickly formed a seal, clone technique. A Sasuke clone suddenly appeared next to Sasuke, and Sasuke formed a seal again, transformation technique. After a puff of smoke, the 2 Sasukes turned into Irika and Mizuki. Irika and Mizuki nodded, judged Sasuke passed the test and gave Sasuke the ninja forehead protector. Sasuke walked over to Naruto with the forehead protector and put it on his forehead. Hey, isn't that cool? Naruto looked at it with envy, his eyes sparkling, so cool. But I will get it soon. After that, Irika called Naruto's name. Uzumaki Naruto. Arrive. Start. Okay. Naruto formed a transformation seal, ninja technique. Seduction technique. Miss Naruto appears. Irika and Mizuki couldn't help but bleed from their noses when they saw Naruto like this. There are so many bastards out there. Stop messing around. Irika dunked and Naruto covered his head and changed back to his normal form. Next was clone technique. Naruto swallowed hard, and tried to recall the knowledge points that Sasuke had taught him. Clone technique. Bang. A weak, pale-faced Naruto appeared lying on the ground. Ah! Naruto saw his clone living in Bengbu. Irika looked at it and frowned, ready to say no. Mizuki stopped Irika. Irika CC, Naruto at least has a clone that has something, and he also passed the written test and transformation technique, or else he passed. After hearing what Mizuki said, Naruto felt a glimmer of hope. However, Irika quickly shook his head, you can't be so careless. So, Naruto, you go back and wait for news. Well, Naruto understood that what this meant was that it was all over. Now Naruto almost cried and returned to the team. Sasuke walked over and comforted Naruto. He knew that Naruto would be tricked by Mizuki tonight to steal the Book of Seals and become a genin. Now he just had to wait. Chapter 40, The Sealed Book. It was late, and the exams were over. Everyone passed the graduation exam, except Naruto, who didn't know whether he passed or not. After all, Irika said to wait for news. This made him very depressed, and Sasuke went over to comfort him, but Naruto was in an emo state at the moment, so he said a few words to Sasuke and left. Sasuke had no choice but to go home. On the way home, the system popped up again. Ding, mission released. Choice 1, stop Naruto. We are all good children of Konoha. How could you do such a thing? Reward, 0.1 card of Chakra plus Might Guys same training suit. Choice 2, pretend to know nothing and protect Naruto. Reward, lightning style thunderbolt arrow. Choice 3, go steal with Naruto, good friends, let's steal together. Reward, choose one of the sealing book Jonin techniques. Grandmaster O, at this moment, the system is still a pleasure to use. Just pass the first and second ones directly, what the hell are those? The ninjutsu in the sealed book can benefit you for the rest of your life if you learn it. After choosing the third one, Sasuke happily went home to eat. Naruto's side. He was in a state of dejection because he failed the exam, so Iruka went to Naruto's house after get off work and found Naruto. Naruto opened the door and was delighted to see it was Iruka, thinking that he was the last one to pass. Iruka CC, are you driving this to give me the forehead protector? Naruto happily held out his hand, and Iruka shook his head, no way, I can't give you your forehead protector yet. I came to see you and treat you to a meal of Ichiraku ramen. Naruto lost his appetite immediately after hearing that. Iruka saw Naruto looking dejected and patted his shoulder, there are many options. As a ninja, Iruka came this time to see Naruto's character. If Naruto gave up on himself, then he couldn't say anything and could only take the next exam. If his mind is stable, the forehead protector will give it to Naruto directly the next day. He asked the third generation, and found out that Naruto now knows a C-rank ninjutsu, wind-style great breakthrough. In addition, Naruto has passed the written test and transformation technique, so he has no problem becoming a genin. Naruto listened to Iruka's words and thought it made sense and nodded, okay Iruka CC, I'll have 2 bowls then. Okay, let's go. The two chatted and laughed as they went to Ichiraku ramen. On the way, Naruto asked Iruka to lend him his forehead protector for a while but was rejected. The two parted ways, and Naruto skipped towards home. When he was almost at the door, Mizuki stood in Naruto's path. Oi, which road is more? Mizuki smiled and waved. Naruto was puzzled, Mizuki, why are you here? Mizuki walked over to Naruto, Naruto, do you want to be a genin? Naruto nodded, of course. Iruka CC told me that if I work hard next year I can definitely become a genin. Mizuki shook his head. There aren't many options. You're just wishful thinking. Let's not even talk about whether you can pass the exam next year. Even if you do, Sasuke and the others who are in the same class with you won't be in the same class with you. Don't you want to carry out missions with Sasuke and the others? Naruto listened to Mizuki and it seemed that this was the case. He really wanted to be with Sasuke. After hearing this, his mood began to fall again. What should I do? It's easy, Naruto. I'll help you. Help me. Naruto looked confused. Mizuki smiled confidently and whispered in Naruto's ear, Naruto, let me tell you, there's a sealed book in the Hokage's file room. Go get it for him, and I'll teach you the most powerful clone technique. Then I'll take you to the Hokage and ask for your approval. Naruto was moved when he heard this, but he still had some concerns, but this is not good, isn't this stealing? Well, of course not. We're just borrowing it and we'll return it after we're done. Seeing that Naruto was still making things difficult for Mizuki, he added fuel to the fire, I won't make things difficult for you. If you want to go, go at 12 o'clock and gather in the depths of the dead leaf forest. If you don't want to go, you can take the exam next year. Mizuki said and turned to leave. Naruto wanted to stop him but he didn't make a move and returned home. After returning home, Naruto tossed and turned in bed, thinking for a long time, and finally decided to steal the Book of Seals. At 12 o'clock, Sarutobi Hiruzen got off work, and no one knew where all the Umbu had gone today. Naruto covered his face and looked around at the door of the Hokage building. Seeing that there was no one there, he jumped directly to the second floor and climbed in through the window to look for the Book of Seals. Meanwhile on Sasuke's side, Sasuke sneaked to the door and put on his shoes, then quietly walked to the backyard and climbed out. Dog system, has Naruto stolen it now? Ding, not yet. Naruto is still in the Hokage building. Sasuke nodded and immediately ran towards the Hokage building. As soon as they arrived at the Hokage building, they saw a dark figure running out from the second floor. Sasuke looked closely and saw that it was Naruto. Sasuke followed them like this, and after they had followed them for some distance into the forest, Sasuke shouted, Baga Naruto. Naruto jumped when he heard someone calling him and quickly turned around to see it was Sasuke. Sas. Why are you here? When Sasuke asked this, Naruto was a little evasive, secretly looked at the seal book behind him and laughed, I came out for a stroll. Sasuke rolled his eyes, why are you carrying such a large scroll while you're strolling around? I just saw you jump out of the Hokage building. Seeing that he was exposed, Naruto had no choice but to confess the truth. After saying that, he glanced at Sasuke, who looked calm. "Sas here, don't tell Irika CC, I'll put it back." Sasuke shook his head, and Naruto thought he disagreed, but Sasuke said, "Why put it back now? We've already taken it out. Let's see and learn some new jutsu." Naruto was delighted to hear Sasuke say that. The two of them stopped looking for Mizuki and opened the scroll to read it. The first ninjutsu is the shadow clone technique. This ninjutsu is not very difficult, otherwise it would not be possible to learn it in just one glance in the Naruto anime. The biggest reason why this ninjutsu is named the forbidden technique is that the shadow clone will feel something when it returns to its original body after being injured. Naruto looked over the hand seals and prepared to try them, but Sasuke just now opened up the Sharingan to see if he could make a few more copies. The result is that he simply cannot understand it, but it's okay, he still has the system. I want to learn Flying Thunder God. This one is more yin, I like it. Ding! Selection successful, reward has been issued. Mastered them. The system's enlightenment function is really good, and Naruto, who is next to him, Shadow Clone, also succeeded in the experiment, which made Naruto very happy. The two of them put the scroll away and looked around. Naruto was about to put it back, while Sasuke looked at Irika. When would Mizuki come? Was it another butterfly effect? If Irika and Mizuki didn't come, could Naruto still become a genin? In the anime, Naruto was assassinated by Mizuki after stealing the skills. Irika found Naruto and was injured in order to save Naruto. Naruto then tortured Mizuki with Shadow Clone and became a genin. Thinking about it, if Mizuki doesn't come, he will just ask Fugaku to help Naruto apply to become a genin. Just as I thought of this, the man appeared. "Hey, Nalia Duo, what are you doing here? Didn't we agree to go deep into the mountains?" The person who came was Shuimu. Mizuki looked at Naruto from the tree and then glanced at Sasuke beside him. "Uchiha Sasuke, why are you here? Naruto, did you call him here?" Naruto quickly shook his hands. No. I was rushing over when Sasuke saw me and came along." Shuimu frowned, "Then give me the Book of Seals quickly." Naruto touched the sealed book on his back and smiled. "No need, Mizuki, I have learned a very powerful clone technique and now I am ready to return it." Hearing this, Mizuki's face darkened. He looked at the two children and burst into laughter for no apparent reason. "Ha ha ha, I was trying to trick you, the Nine-Tails Fox Demon, into stealing the Book of Seals, but I didn't expect an Uchiha to follow. This is really troublesome. Forget it, please die together. After all, only the dead can keep secrets." With that, Mizuki picked up the oversized shuriken he was carrying, and Sasuke saw the plot was about to begin and said to Naruto, "Naruto, let's go." It's not that he can't beat Mizuki, he's just waiting for Irika to come soon. He doesn't want to change some of the early plots, at least until after the class division. Sasuke said this and turned and ran. Naruto was stunned for a moment before he followed. As for Shuimu, he was not in a hurry to chase after her, and he was giggling like a BT while chasing her. Over here at the Hokage building, many jonin gathered here. Umbu, who was on duty tonight, went to the toilet while on guard duty. After returning, he discovered that the Book of Seals had been stolen while patrolling the Hokage building. Mizuki was also in the crowd, but he was just a clone used as an alibi, so that even if Naruto died, they wouldn't be able to find him. The Book of Seals was stolen. Do you know who did it? Sarutobi Hiruzen had a gloomy face, and the jonin were whispering to each other. Finally, it was Mizuki's clone who stepped forward and said, "I saw Naruto running towards the Hokage building when I was walking home after having supper tonight. Could it be him?" As soon as Mizuki finished speaking, Irika immediately stepped forward to answer, "Impossible, Naruto doesn't normally come across the term Book of Sealing, how could he have stolen it? Maybe someone instigated it." Mizuki acted like the thief crying "Stop thief," and now Irika was unsure. Sarutobi Hiruzen stood in front and immediately gave the order to find Uzumaki Naruto. Everyone dispersed to look for Uzumaki Naruto. Tonight was destined to be a sleepless night. When Irika was about to leave to find Naruto, Sarutobi Hiruzen stopped him. "Irika, you will go with Mizuki later, but don't let him find you." Irika was confused as to why, but nodded and did as the third generation said. In the forest, Sasuke and Naruto ran for an unknown amount of time and were both a little tired, so they found a tree, jumped onto a branch and sat down to rest for a while. "I didn't expect Mizuki CC to be a bad guy." Naruto gasped. Sasuke looked back and wondered why Irika hadn't arrived yet. He was so tired from running. Otherwise, if Irika didn't come in 5 minutes, he would have let Mizuki deal with him. Thinking that the two were resting in the same place, suddenly, some leaves in front of Sasuke and Naruto shook a few times. It was Mizuki chasing after them. Unexpectedly, this guy caught up with Sasuke and Naruto in less than 2 minutes. From a distance, before the two of them noticed, a shuriken was thrown at Sasuke. Sasuke's perception was quite good, and he quickly dodged to the side when he sensed danger. I turned around and found that it was Mizuki who had caught up with me. Seeing Mizuki coming, Naruto immediately stood up and said, "Damn guy, Sasuke, let's fight him." After saying this, Naruto formed hand seals and prepared to use the shadow clone technique. Sasuke nodded, not wanting to wait any longer. Mizuki found it funny when the two kids said they wanted to have S*X with him, so he walked over slowly with a kunai in hand and said, "Hand over the book of seals, and I'll kill you both." Shadow clone technique. Naruto quickly formed hand seals, and a large group of shadow clones surrounded the area in just 1 second. These shadow clone Naruto were chattering loudly. Iruka had originally found it strange that he had followed the wood clone to the Konoha forest, but the sound of a large group of Naruto made him realize that something was not simple. At this time, Mizuki's clone also disappeared. Iruka frowned and rushed to the noisy location without thinking much. Hey, aren't you going to kill us? That's right, can you find our true form? Ha 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 ha. That's right, surrender now, you fool Mizuki. Naruto's shadow clones kept arguing with each other, making Sasuke's head almost explode. Naruto, hurry up and fix it, it's making too much noise. Naruto's real body beside him uttered an "oh" and suddenly jumped down from the tree and shouted, "XDM, beat him." After saying that, Naruto rushed towards Mizuki with an overwhelming force. Mizuki was also panicked. His strength was indeed not that good. It was all just a clever trick. He used clone technique to replace the real person. In fact, third generation Sarutobi Hiruzen saw it at a glance, otherwise he would not have let Iruka follow him. 5 times. Ma. Ki. Which road continuous play, a large group of Naruto kicked Mizuki in circles, and in just a moment Mizuki was beaten into a pig's head. This scene was also seen by Iruka, who came rushing over. What's going on? Seeing Iruka coming, hundreds of Naruto's shadow clones turned around and looked at Iruka, then all surrounded him and chattered and explained things to Iruka, making his head buzz. Nanluduo, please remove your shadow clone. Iruka CC is almost getting annoyed by you. Naruto took a look and realized that it was true. He immediately released the ninjutsu and all the shadow clones disappeared. Iruka rubbed his brows, looked at the book of seals carried by Naruto and Mizuki lying on the ground, and asked tiredly, "What's going on?" Naruto explained, "Iruka CC is like this, tonight." Naruto recounted the story of how Mizuki came to him at night to steal the book of seals, how he met Sasuke, was chased by Mizuki, and finally beat Mizuki. After hearing this, Iruka's frown relaxed a little. He first handcuffed Mizuki on the ground and took him away, then asked Naruto and Sasuke to go to the Hokage building to explain to Sarutobi Hiruzen. The two of them readily agreed, and along the way, Naruto told Iruka CC how powerful his shadow clone was. When they arrived at the Hokage building, Mizuki was taken to the prison first by the security team. Fugaku was also alarmed by this and rushed over to the Hokage building. When Iruka arrived with Sasuke and Naruto, Fugaku was stunned for a moment. "Sasuke, why are you here?" Sasuke scratched his head and chuckled, "I couldn't sleep and ran into Naruto when I was out wandering. I went after Naruto to see what he was doing." Fugaku nodded, and Naruto explained and apologized to Sarutobi Hiruzen exactly as Iruka had intended. Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled and said, "It's okay. It seems our Naruto is also a genius. He can learn the A-level ninjutsu shadow clone technique after just one look." Naruto chuckled and scratched his head. Sarutobi Hiruzen stroked his beard and walked over to Naruto and stroked his hair and looked at Iruka and said, "Did you give him Naruto's forehead protector?" Iruka smiled at the side and said, "No, I was planning to give him a surprise tomorrow, but who knew something like this would happen tonight?" Naruto was confused. "Hi, what's this forehead protector?" Iruka walked over with a smile and took out the genin forehead protector from his waist. "No, the third generation master saw your results and approved you to become a genin after the exams were over." Hearing Iruka's words, Naruto's eyes widened, and then tears came out. "Really? Iruka CC third generation GG?" Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded and smiled, "Yes, it's true. Congratulations on becoming a genin, Uzumaki Naruto." "Oh whoa. Arigato, third generation grandpa." Iruka CC Naruto ran into Iruka's arms and cried like a baby. This matter also ended here. Mizuki was taken to Uchiha prison, and it was basically impossible for him to escape from prison and find Orochimaru as in the original plot. 5 days later in the morning, Naruto watched his genin forehead protector being wiped again and again. He was very careful with it now, fearing that it would get bumped. "Today, we also went to the ninja school to take our ninja ID photos. We will be divided into classes the next afternoon." Naruto put on his forehead protector and walked out of the house with his head held high to find Sasuke. Sasuke is at home at this time. Lying on the tatami in the living room, eating melon seeds boredly, he was indeed quite idle recently. The Konoha guard was very busy recently, and he had no time to practice with Shisui Nissan and Ataka Nissan. "SAS, are you still home?" Mikoto prepared breakfast early and went shopping for groceries. When she came back, she was a little confused to see Sasuke still at home. Ang? Is there something wrong with me being at home, Garsang? Mikoto put down the basket, changed into slippers and walked into the house. Aren't we going to take ninja ID photos today? After Mikoto finished speaking, Sasuke, who was still eating sunflower seeds, jumped up and said, "Yeah. I actually forgot." With that, Sasuke rushed to the door, put on his shoes, and ran out. Mikoto looked at Sasuke's back and smiled helplessly. Who does this kid follow? After running out of the house, Sasuke ran desperately to the ninja school. The photo was taken at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was already 7:30 when Sasuke was eating sunflower seeds. When he was halfway through his run, he saw Naruto leisurely walking in his direction. Sasuke took a look and thought, hey, even if I'm late, it won't be a big problem as long as I have someone to accompany me. No way, you haven't gone to school yet. Naruto walked over slowly. I just came here to ask you to come with me. It's still early anyway, and the photo shoot won't start until 9. Sasuke twitched his lips. No, Naruto, the photo session is at 8 o'clock. The two looked at each other in silence for a while. After only 3 seconds, they both ran as fast as Jiraiya, who saw the beautiful woman. When they arrived at the ninja school, many people were already waiting in the playground. Sasuke looked around and saw that Hinata and the others were still there, so they should not be late yet. The two of them breathed a sigh of relief as they ran into the team, then started chatting. Sas, I'm so nervous, do you think we'll be in the same class? Sasuke shook his head. Well, 30% destiny and 70% luck, I guess. The two of them were chatting here, and Iruka had already started calling people in to take pictures. After a while, Sasuke came back after taking his ID photo and saw that Naruto had disappeared. Hinata Naruto? Sasuke asked as he walked over to Hinata, who pointed to the bathroom at the ninja school. Naruto-kun went to the toilet. Oh Hinata-chan, do you think we should be in the same class? Have no idea. Then if we are divided into the same class, I will treat you to meatballs. Okay. The two of them sat on a bench in the school and chatted. At this time, Naruto was in the bathroom, painting his face to look like a ghost, and the red and white stripes looked awkward no matter how you looked at them. Pictures in the comments section. Well, I'm really handsome. After showing off for a while, Naruto walked out of the bathroom. Along the way, classmates couldn't help laughing when they saw Naruto like this. Naruto didn't care, and seeing Sasuke and Hinata on the bench, he trotted over. "Sas, am I handsome?" Sasuke was originally chatting and laughing with Hinata, but seeing Naruto like this, Sasuke smiled even more happily. Oh my god, Naruto, what's with this look? Naruto stretched out his hand towards the two of them and made a cool gesture. This is Uzumaki Naruto-sama's super invincible and handsome look, how about it? Sasuke gave an okay sign. No problem. There are so many roads. Iruka shouted at him from the playground and asked him to go take pictures. Naruto ran over in a flash. Iruka CC, here I come. Naruto ran in front of Iruka, and Iruka couldn't help laughing when he saw Naruto like this, but he had received professional training and usually would not laugh out loud unless he couldn't help it. Iruka coughed a few times to stifle his laughter. Ahem, there aren't many roads, are you going to take pictures like this? Naruto nodded. Iruka urged him to go wash up but Naruto refused to listen and went inside to take pictures and make a ninja report. Hokage room. Sarutobi Hiruzen sat in the middle and looked at everyone's ninja report cards and nodded with satisfaction. At this time, a jonin handed Naruto's report to him. As soon as he took a look at what the hell is this? Call Uzumaki Naruto over here. Yes, third generation adults. Naruto, who was called over, had already washed up and was sitting in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen with a confused look on his face, not knowing why he was called over. Ahem, there are so many options. This photo is not good. Let's go back and take another one. Ah why, so handsome. Naruto looked reluctant. The ninja report card will affect your future ninja career. It will damage your image if you log in like this. No, I think it's pretty handsome. No. Naruto started to act coquettishly. We'll go reshoot it later. Seeing that the third generation was not interested, Naruto snorted and formed seals with his hands. Damn third generation GG, take this. Seduction. Naruto suddenly transformed into Miss Naruto and blew a kiss to the third generation. Third generation, what the hell, I don't want it. When the third generation saw this, they immediately burst into nosebleed and fell to the ground. Naruto saw the third generation fall and his seduction. Damn it. You actually used seduction to sneak attack me. That's unsportsmanlike. Sarutobi Hiruzen stood up and wiped the blood from his nose. I don't want to change the photo. No. Hateful. Naruto was about to use seduction when the door at the side suddenly opened and a little kid ran out with a shuriken in his hand. GG. Let's duel. Konohamaru, will take on the 5th Hokage. As soon as he finished speaking, Konohamaru ran into the house and fell, losing the duel. Damn it, is this a trap? Konohamaru covered his nose and just finished speaking when a man in black tights and sunglasses ran in from the doorway. Mr. Konohamaru, are you okay? Sarutobi Hiruzen covered his face helplessly. Konohamaru got up and saw Naruto sitting next to him and ran over quickly. Damn it, you made me fall. Naruto didn't tolerate Konohamaru and grabbed Konohamaru's clothes. Little brat, who are you talking about? I'll let go of Master Konohamaru. He's the grandson of a third-generation master. Naruto tilted his head and glanced at Ebisu. Konohamaru smiled crookedly, so, you still want to beat me up? I'm the grandson of the third Hokage, hit me if you can. Konohamaru just finished speaking, thinking that this guy must be trying to please him like everyone else. The only thing Konohamaru was greeted with was a slam dunk. I don't care who you are, BD. Nani? Konohamaru was shocked. He actually dared to hit him. Moreover, he had just seen Naruto use seduction to defeat the third-generation leader, and a feeling of admiration quickly rose in his heart. Ebisu, take Konohamaru down. Hey! Third generation! Konohamaru was taken away before he could say anything. After seeing Konohamaru leave, Naruto wanted to negotiate with the third generation not to retake the photo, but of course he was rejected and forced to take another photo. The ninja login was over and everyone went home. Sasuke was chatting with dessert shop. Naruto left the school and looked around for Sasuke, but found that Sasuke was missing. There's no other way, just go home by yourself. On the way home, he always felt like someone was following him. When he turned around, he saw Konohamaru holding a piece of cloth and lurking there. Konohamaru followed him as he walked, looking back several times, and Naruto immediately saw through Konohamaru's disguise. Damn it, he's worthy of being the man I approve of. He can actually see through my disguise. Why are you following me? You. I want you to be my big brother and teach me the ninjutsu that will allow me to defeat Grandpa. What? I'm not interested. Naruto was about to leave when Konohamaru quickly ran over and pulled Naruto. Brother, just teach me brother Unii-chan. Naruto was impatient at first, but he finally succumbed to the call of big brother again and again. Okay, I'll teach you then. Let's go. Yes, big brother is the best. Next, the two ran to the street to practice seduction techniques, and took Konohamaru to the women's bathhouse after transforming, but Naruto was beaten up. Afterwards, they went to Konoha Forest for one-on-one training. Naruto defeated Ebisu using the harem technique and successfully became Konohamaru's idol and big brother. The next afternoon, the ninja school was still bustling with activity. In Sasuke's classroom, many people gathered together to chat and hoped to be assigned to the same class. Hey, Sakura, do you think I'll be in the same class with Sasuke? Ino's eyes sparkled, while little Sakura beside her seemed nonchalant. I don't know. Don't you want to be in the same class with Sas? Me? I can do anything. Because Sasuke and little Sakura are just ordinary friends, they just say hello and chat for a few minutes when they meet, and that's it. Because Sasuke and Hinata were often together, some of the girls in 8 trigrams suspected that Sasuke was pursuing Hinata, and their initial feelings for Sasuke were gone. This is good, Sasuke can have some free time. Classmates, be quiet. Irika walked into the classroom, a list in his hand. When Irika came in, the classroom fell silent and everyone looked at him. Ahem, classmates, congratulations on becoming the new generation of genin, and congratulations on your successful graduation from the Ninja Academy. Today is the day you will be divided into 3-person teams to carry out your mission. I will now divide the classes. Those whose names are called will proceed to their designated classrooms to wait for their jonin teachers. First group, Kaya Hisaji, Sarutobi Jiro, Nara Keiko. Teacher Irika read out the names, and pairs of students left the classroom, leaving it empty. The students who stayed were very nervous, hoping to be in the same class with their friends. Team 7, Hyuga Hinata, Uzumaki Naruto. Ah, and Hinata, why aren't you crying? Naruto lay on the table a little listless. Hinata also clenched her fists and prayed that the last person would be Sasuke. Uchiha Sasuke, Class 7, please proceed to room 203 and wait for your jonin. Hinata breathed a sigh of relief when she heard that Sasuke was in the same class as her. Naruto beside her also sat up and put his arm around Sasuke's shoulders. Hey, Sasuke, I knew I was in the same class with you. Let's go. Let's go see which CC is taking us. Let's go give him a surprise. Sasuke smiled and stood up. The three of them left the classroom, and Irika continued to sort the classes. The 8th team consists of Inyazuka Kiba, Aberame Shino, and Sakura-chan, and the 10th team consists of the Ino, Shika, Cho trio of Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru, and Akimichi Koji. The only thing that has changed from the original plot is that Hinata and Sakura-chan have switched places. After the classes were divided, everyone went to their own classrooms. After the trio of Sasuke, Hinata, and Naruto arrived in the classroom, Naruto started looking for things. Naruto-kun, what are you doing? Hinata asked in confusion. Sasuke chuckled beside him, Naruto, you're trying to play a trick on the new teacher. Oh, there are so many ways. Let me help you. Hinata watched the two of them from the side, feeling a little excited and wanting to help, but she was still a little shy and could only watch from the side. Sasuke took the lead by placing the blackboard eraser in the crack of the door and clamping the door strap on top so that the eraser would hit his head when he opened it. Naruto was even more mean. He put a lot of chalk on the ground so that if you walked in you would fall if you were not careful. After preparing the trap, the two men sat down and stared at the door. Time passed minute by minute, and soon, footsteps came towards their classroom. The three of them leaned together and stared at the door, then saw a hand reach into the crack and push the door aside. The chalk eraser fell suddenly and hit the head of the white-haired masked man, who was Hokage Kakashi. Kakashi puzzled as he removed the chalk eraser from his head and then walked inside and stepped on the chalk. However, Naruto's mechanism was still a bit child's play. Kakashi stepped on it and broke it with chalk. Although this one didn't work out, the blackboard eraser trap is still pretty good. Ah ha 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 ha, Bagot got hit. Naruto was the first to laugh. Sasuke was trying to hold back his laughter, as he had received professional training and normally did not laugh. Hinata also found Kakashi CC's funny look amusing, but she didn't laugh out loud like Naruto. Instead, she covered her mouth and giggled. "Ah, you three guys really gave me a surprise." Kakashi walked to the podium with a helpless look on his face, and the three people stopped smiling and just looked at Kakashi. How should I put it? My first impression of you is, very bad. Okay, let's go out and gather. Kakashi said as he brushed the chalk dust off his head and walked out of the classroom. Naruto and Sasuke, two big-hearted guys, followed without a care. As boys, being naughty is their nature. Hinata followed behind and got a little nervous when she heard Kakashi CC had a bad first impression of her and the others. After walking out of the ninja school and onto a small bridge, the three of them sat on the stairs, with Kakashi standing in front of them. Everyone, please introduce yourselves so I can get to know you. Kakashi said, leaning on the bridge railing. After Kakashi finished speaking, Naruto raised his hand first. CC, shouldn't you introduce yourself first before we introduce ourselves? Kakashi pointed at himself. Me? My name is Hokage Kakashi. What about you? Who's going first? Arwa. Naruto raised his hand first. Arwa Wujimaki Naruto. I like to eat Ichiraku ramen, I hate to eat fresh vegetables, and my future dream is to become a Hokage. Naruto spoke passionately, but it was a bit awkward without someone to support him. Kakashi pointed at Sasuke and said, what about you? When he was called, Sasuke was also very proud, holding his chin with both hands. I'm Uchiha Sasuke. My favorite food is tomatoes. I hate eating winter melon, loofah, and that damn cilantro. My future dream is to become a powerful ninja and protect the important people around me. Although Hinata wasn't shy anymore when chatting and playing with Sasuke, she still felt a little awkward talking to people she didn't know well. My name is Hokage Hinata. I like sweet things and don't dislike any food. I don't know what my future dream is yet. After saying this, she blushed and glanced at Sasuke secretly. Kakashi had a preliminary understanding of the three people after seeing their performance. Naruto was a hot-blooded young man, Sasuke was a clever kid, and Hinata was a shy girl. Yeah, wow, we don't have any activities today, I have something to announce and then we'll disband. After saying that, Kakashi walked up to the three of them and said, gather at the training ground tomorrow morning. Remember, don't eat breakfast. I will prepare something delicious for you. After saying that, Kakashi left the three of them. The three of them looked at each other, and Naruto said he was going to go find little Sakura to play and left first. Sasuke and Hinata looked at each other on the bridge for a while, then got up and walked towards the dessert shop to have afternoon tea. 1 against 7, are you up yet? A sweet little girl's voice came from outside the house. Sasuke, who was sleeping in bed, was woken up by the voice and felt strange. Why did another young lady come to see Atake? Thinking of this, Sasuke immediately ran to the second-floor window and looked downstairs. He found a girl standing at the door, but her face was blocked and he could not see clearly. After a while, the door opened and it was his niece Atake. The two greeted each other, chatting and laughing, and left side by side. Sasuke then saw that it was Sister Izumi. These two seem to have a story recently, I really want to follow them. Although I thought so, I still have something to do today, the gathering of Kakashi CC, which is the battle for the bell. Not allowing them to eat breakfast was purely a test of their team bond. Well, I won't eat it. I won't be hungry anyway. With that in mind, Sasuke quickly got dressed and went downstairs to see it was still early. After putting on his shoes, Mikoto called out to Sasuke, "Sasuke, aren't you going to have breakfast?" Sasuke waved his hand. "Kakashi CC said he prepared something delicious for us, so I won't eat it yet." After saying that, he ran towards the training ground. When they arrived at the training ground, Sasuke was not the first one to arrive. Hinata had already arrived early and was doing his own special training in Gentle Fist. Seeing Sasuke coming, Hinata closed her eyes and smiled slightly. A ray of sunlight just happened to shine on Hinata's face. The sweat beads on her face combined with her cute looks plus appropriate sunlight exposure was simply a sure win. Sasuke trotted over, "Hinata-chan, why are you here so early?" Hinata took out a towel from his pocket and wiped the sweat from his forehead. "I usually get up early, and since I had nothing to do at home, I came here." Sasuke nodded, and pulled Hinata to sit on the 3 wooden stakes in the training ground to enjoy the breeze, their shoulders leaning against each other. More than half an hour later, Naruto arrived late and scratched his head. Sorry, I'm late." Sasuke brushed the dust off his butt and stood up, saying, "It's okay. Kakashi CC that BD came even later than you. I don't know where he went." Naruto looked around and indeed didn't see Kakashi. "Hey, if I had known I would have been late." The 3-person group has gathered and now they have nothing to do, so they just sit here and chat. About half an hour later, Kakashi came over with an apologetic look on his face. "Oh, sorry, everyone, I overslept." In fact, Kakashi was not late just now, but was observing the situation of several people from a distance. Naruto gave him the impression of being a huge idiot, very similar to a friend of his from before. Hinata and Sasuke have a somewhat ambiguous relationship. "It's so sad that I'm almost 30 and still relying on intimacy paradise to spend my days." As they approached everyone, Naruto was the first to reach out. "Kakashi CC, where's the delicious food?" Kakashi smiled and took out 2 bento boxes from the back. "Yes, here it is." Naruto stretched out his fingers and counted, 1, 2, "Kakashi CC, you must have been confused after sleeping. There are 3 of us, why did you only prepare 2? No, it's just 2 servings. Do you want some? If you want, come and get it with your own skills." After saying that, Kakashi walked to the wooden stake and put the lunch box on it. He then took out 2 bells from his waist and said, "Here are 2 bells. Only 2 of you 3 can get the bells. The one who gets the bells will have a meal and start taking missions tomorrow. The one who doesn't get the bells will go back to the ninja school to repeat their studies." Naruto and Hinata were both very surprised to hear this big news, but Sasuke seemed to have already known it and remained calm. Kakashi also had no idea of the strength of these people, and he could never have imagined what kind of torture a bell-grabbing game would bring him later. After the rules were announced, Kakashi took out the intimate paradise behind him and said, "Let's start. You have to be determined to kill me to grab it." After that, they stood there reading. The 3 of them looked at each other and Sasuke said, "Naruto, Hinata, let's go discuss some tactics." The 2 nodded, and the 3 of them ran into the woods. Under a big tree, Sasuke picked up a wooden stick and said to Hinata, "Hinata-kan, you will be responsible for opening your Byakugan from a distance and help us detect where Kakashi has walked to. If there is any situation, just give a loud warning. Is that okay?" Hinata nodded. "Yeah, Waka, he got it." "Naruto, you'll be in charge of attracting Kakashi CC, and I'll grab the bell." Naruto nodded in understanding, but he asked worriedly, "But he only has 2 bells. What are we going to do with 3 of us? I don't want to be separated from you." Sasuke smiled faintly. "That's easy, right? Let's give Kakashi CC a good slap in the face first. If he doesn't let us stay, we'll go to ninja school for another year and let him know that he's heartbroken and doesn't want him anymore. It's like saying, don't fight for bread, fight for pride." After Sasuke's analysis, both of them thought it made sense. After the 3 of them discussed the tactics in detail, they officially began. "Hi! Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh." The 3 of them separated, and Hinata went to hide under a tree not far from Kakashi. Veins popped out around her eyes, and her white eyes opened instantly as she stared at Kakashi. If there was anything wrong, she would report it immediately. Naruto's battle plan was to attract, so he ran directly in front of Kakashi CC. "Kakashi CC, patch it up," Naruto said as he quickly formed hand seals and activated the shadow clone technique, and Naruto attacked Kakashi from all directions. Kakashi was not in a hurry either. He dodged while reading a book, and Naruto's shadow clone missed. "Ah, caking boxing, that's interesting." Kakashi said so, but his hand that was reading the book did not move. Sasuke watched on, waiting for the perfect moment, holding a kunai he had taken from the space scroll in his sleeve and adding the flying thunder god mark. Kakashi CC. Wind style great breakthrough. The 8 Narutos didn't hit Kakashi, but they didn't panic. They formed hand seals and turned around to launch wind style great breakthrough at Kakashi. A gust of wind blew towards Kakashi's face, and Kakashi stopped reading and started to study more seriously. Putting the book away, Kakashi formed hand seals at a speed that even Naruto couldn't see clearly. Earth style, earth flow wall. 4 dog-head earth walls appeared around Kakashi and surrounded him. All wind-style great breakthroughs hit the earth walls without any reaction. Naruto saw that his attack was blocked, and the 2 shadow clones ran to the wall of the earth flow to see what Kakashi CC was doing below. But what awaited the 2 shadow clones were 2 shurikens. The 2 shadow clones were smart enough to step back to avoid the shurikens, but they lost their balance and fell from the wall to the ground, disappearing with a bang. Damn Kakashi CC, come out if you can. There was no sound coming from inside, which Naruto found strange and made all the remaining shadow clones run inside. As soon as they entered the earthen wall, they saw that there was no Kakashi inside. The shadow clones felt strange, but what awaited them was the earthen walls around them collapsing and crushing them all. Naruto looked around. Hinata was staring at Kakashi from a distance. With her white eyes, she could see through and clearly see the chakra meridians, flow and acupoints, and it was 360 degrees without blind spots. She didn't see clearly why Kakashi's chakra suddenly disappeared. When she looked closely, she found that there seemed to be a chakra fluctuation under Naruto. Which road is more, down below? Hinata warned, and Naruto was startled and looked down, then heard a voice say, "It's too late." After saying that, one hand grabbed Naruto's ankle. Earth style, heart decapitation technique. Chapter 45, Confused Kakashi. Naruto was stunned for a moment, and the next second he was pulled into the ground by Kakashi, leaving only his head exposed. "Ah! I don't accept it. Let me out," Naruto was yelling and acting like a spoiled child from below. Kakashi smiled and ignored what Naruto said, coming out from underground and clapping his hands. "So, where are the remaining 2? After dealing with Naruto, Kakashi picked up his Intimate Paradise and started reading it again. Kakashi is indeed a ninja who has experienced war and has a keen sense of his surroundings. Sasuke wasn't going to hide anymore, and he quickly threw the Flying Thunder God Kunao towards Kakashi. The Kunao broke through the air and flew towards Kakashi. Kakashi was stunned and dodged sideways, and the position of the bell was just facing the Kunao. The next second, Sasuke suddenly appeared here at the Kunao. Kakashi's eyes widened when he saw this scene. This is Flying Thunder God. How could it be? Before he could even think, Sasuke reached for the bell. Kakashi's fighting skills are also very impressive, and he immediately retreated after realizing Sasuke's intentions. Sasuke didn't get the bell and stood there saying it was a pity. Naruto was delighted when he saw Sasuke take action. "SAS, come and save me." Sasuke didn't waste any words and quickly formed seals with his hands. Shadow Clone Technique. With a bang, another Sasuke appeared next to him. "Kakashi CC, are you going to give me the bell or grab it for me?" Kakashi smiled slightly in front of Sasuke and put away his Intimate Paradise. He could be half-hearted when dealing with Naruto, but Sasuke was not so easy. If you want a bell, you have to be good enough to get it. After saying that, Kakashi stood there without moving, waiting for Sasuke to attack. Sasuke smiled, placing the kunao back into the scroll before pulling out a few shurikens from his waist pouch. "Then I'll be there." The battle between the two officially began. Sasuke threw the first shuriken, and Kakashi also took out a kunao from his waist and knocked away the shuriken heading towards him. But this was just a feint, and the next second Sasuke suddenly jumped up and formed seals with his hands, fire style. Impatience Chlored. The shuriken, combined with the fire style, fell from the sky and smashed towards Kakashi. Kakashi quickly formed a seal without further ado, earth flow wall. All the shurikens smashed into the earth wall. After a ninjutsu duel, Sasuke saw that Fengxian fire had no effect and quickly moved close to Kakashi's body. The two began a physical duel, and the fight was fierce for a while. Meanwhile, Shadow Clone Sasuke had already run over to Naruto while Kakashi wasn't paying attention. Sasuke looked around and found a slightly larger stone to dig next to Naruto. As long as the arm could be pulled out, there would be basically no problem. Hinata, who was observing the battle in the woods, stared at Kakashi and Sasuke. Her task was to assist in the battle and she did not need to confront Sasuke and Naruto head-on. She only needed to tell Kakashi directly if she saw any strange movements or remind him if there was any movement. Back to Sasuke and Kakashi. During the physical battle, Sasuke kept attacking Kakashi's bells, but Kakashi was like a loach and always managed to dodge the attacks. Sasuke was now in the body of a 12-year-old after all, smaller and weaker than Kakashi, so continuing the taijutsu battle wasn't a good idea. He also knew that Flying Thunder God's sneak attack tactics would only work the first time. Using it again would just be a waste of chakra. Kakashi was already on guard, so it wouldn't be that easy. The most important thing is that the Flying Thunder God ninjutsu consumes a lot of chakra. During the ninja war, the three Namikaze Minato guards had to be together to activate the Flying Thunder God technique. Although Sasuke's current chakra amount is as much as 4 or 5 Kakashi, it is still not enough. If he wants to use it unlimitedly, he must have a chakra amount like Naruto plus 9 tails power bank. So he didn't plan to use Flying Thunder God, but instead used his best fire-style ninjutsu. Kakashi CC, I'm going to attack. Kakashi nodded, come on, Yoshi. Fire style. Ha-long fire technique. A ball of flame shot out from Sasuke's mouth and slowly condensed into a fire dragon that smashed towards Kakashi. Kakashi was a little surprised to see this scene, but he wasn't surprised for too long. After all, he had just seen Sasuke master the Flying Thunder God, so learning a B-rank ninjutsu was nothing to be surprised about. The fire dragon quickly flew towards Kakashi, and Kakashi quickly formed a seal, water style, water dragon bomb. A water dragon also rose from the ground, and the water and fire dragons entangled with each other, and finally dissipated in the sky, and a burst of water drops fell like rain. In a fight, Kakashi did not counter the opponent's moves this time, but took the initiative to attack. He took out 3 shurikens from his waist pocket and threw them over. Sasuke dodged and Kakashi took advantage of this opportunity to suddenly get close to Sasuke, leaving only 1 meter away. His goal was to control Sasuke and end the match. Sasuke naturally saw this as well. Kakashi was really hard to deal with, and his reputation of 50-50 was well deserved. This is just training. If Kakashi really fights, he will have a hard time winning. Kakashi reached out to grab Sasuke's arm. Sasuke wanted to step back to avoid it, but it was too late. There was nothing he could do. Sasuke closed his eyes and then suddenly opened them, activating the Sharingan. The 3 Megatamas spun quickly and then stopped. Kakashi was shocked to see Sasuke's 3 Tomo Sharingan and quickly closed his eyes. Illusions are hard to guard against, especially Uchiha's illusions. Just looking at each other for a second could make you fall into the illusion. Although Sasuke's illusion couldn't control Kakashi for a few seconds, it was enough to snatch the bell. Kakashi closed his eyes and quickly took a few steps back. Sasuke also quickly formed hand seals without hesitation, fire style, fire dragon flame bullet. A powerful flame shot out again, this time Sasuke used all his strength. When Kakashi took a few steps back and opened his eyes again, Sasuke was still making hand seals. Seeing the shape of the seals, Kakashi guessed what kind of ninjutsu it was. Kakashi followed suit and quickly formed hand seals, and the 2 fire dragon flame bombs collided in the air. Now it depends on who has enough chakra or who has the ability to break the status quo. Kakashi was thinking this in his mind, while Sasuke was already grinning from ear to ear. He and Naruto's initial tactics changed immediately after Naruto was captured. He is fainting now. The real killer move is Naruto behind Kakashi. At this time, Naruto was also dug out of the cave by Sasuke. Sasuke's shadow clone disappeared. Naruto saw Kakashi and Sasuke fighting and knew that now was the best time to launch a sneak attack. Naruto took out the shuriken from his waist and hit the bell rope on Kakashi's waist. The 2 of them were facing each other. Kakashi suddenly heard the sound of shuriken breaking through the air behind him. He wanted to dodge, but Sasuke's fire dragon flame bomb was putting pressure on him in front of him. While he was thinking, the shuriken was less than half a meter away from the bell. In an instant, the fire dragon flame bomb in Kakashi's mouth stopped, and with a bang, a cloud of smoke covered Kakashi's whole body. The smoke cleared, and what remained was a wooden stake. At the last moment, Kakashi used the body replacement technique and ran away. Sasuke also quickly put away the fire dragon flame bomb. Ah, sass! Kakashi CC turned into wood. Sasuke rolled his eyes. What an idiot! This is body replacement technique. I don't know where that Kakashi CC guy is hiding. Damn it! The 2 of them gathered together and looked around, looking for Kakashi, while Kakashi was watching the 2 of them from a tree nearby. It was really thrilling. I almost fell into the gutter. Kakashi patted his chest in the tree, but what was waiting for him was the sound of another shuriken flying from behind him. Hinata took action. Hinata's task was to keep an eye on Kakashi CC and report the location. After she saw Kakashi CC climb up the tree, she immediately took out her weapon and threw it over for a sneak attack. If Kakashi moved, his position would be exposed. If he didn't move, the bell on his waist would be knocked down by the shuriken. Sasuke and Naruto also heard the sound of shurikens flying not far from them, and after learning of Kakashi's location, the 2 of them chased after him. Kakashi on the tree dodged the shuriken first and jumped down from the tree. What was waiting for him was the shadow clone technique that Naruto suddenly released. Naruto instantly hugged Kakashi's legs, arms, waist, and head. Sasuke suddenly reached out his hand, got it. Sasuke grabbed the 2 bells and snatched them from Kakashi's waist. The cooperation of the 3 of them made Kakashi confused. Is this the first time these 3 are working together? Is there something wrong with the script? Shouldn't I be the one to take care of them all and then give them a lecture and a test? Master 3rd generation, what kind of class are you giving me? I'm stupefied. He, Kakashi CC, you lose. Naruto's shadow clone was released, and the real body looked very proud. Kakashi rubbed his neck. Well, that's good. The three of you have an excellent sense of teamwork. Now, have you decided which two people will stay? Kakashi looked at Sasuke and Naruto, and Hinata, who had been hiding in the dark, also came out. The three of them stood side by side, with Sasuke standing in the middle and stepping out. Kakashi CC, you can either accept all three of us, or we can all go back to the Ninja Academy and study for another year to get a new CC. It's your choice. Yeah, I think they put two bells on purpose to cause discord among our team. Kakashi CC is a super big shot. Naruto chimed in. Hinata didn't say anything, but her eyes firmly stood on Sasuke's side. Seeing the three of them so united, Kakashi's mouth curled up slightly under the mask. Well, since you are so outstanding, I naturally have to keep you. Let's go eat the bento. It's delicious. I cooked it myself. Kakashi pushed the three little ones towards the wooden stake where the lunch boxes were placed. The two bento bowls and three little guys on the wooden stake looked very out of place. Oh, sorry, I didn't expect you to pass. I was planning to eat these two portions myself. How about this, one of you three takes the initiative to give up the other two and eat them. After hearing what Kakashi said, Sasuke knew that this bad guy hadn't passed the bond test yet and was still digging holes. Well, you guys eat sass for June, there's plenty of it. Hinata was the first to offer food, and Naruto felt embarrassed to rush to eat as carelessly as usual. Sasuke walked over to the two bento bowls, picked them up and handed them to Kakashi. Kakashi CC, keep it for yourself. The three of us have unanimously decided to treat us to barbecue after you're full. Just think in reverse, why do we have to eat Kakashi's lunchbox? Anyway, he said confused about this test that no one knows about. Besides, bento is not as delicious as barbecue. Sasuke took the lead, and Naruto immediately agreed, grill. Kakashi CC, you won't be stingy, will you? Kakashi looked at the lunchbox that Sasuke handed over and smiled helplessly. It was really interesting. Barbecue, okay, CC, I'll be generous today. Team 7 will officially start accepting missions tomorrow. Meet at the Hokage building at 8 AM, don't be late. Hooray! Naruto jumped up in celebration. Kakashi agreed to treat them, and the three of them were definitely happy. They followed Kakashi CC, chatting and laughing all the way to a slightly more upscale barbecue restaurant in Konoha. Once they were seated, Naruto sat next to Kakashi, while Sasuke sat across from Hinata. Coincidentally, sitting next to their table were Ino, Shika, Cho from Class 10 and their teacher Asuma. Hey Kakashi, did these three kids pass your assessment? Asuma walked over smoking a cigarette. Kakashi nodded and handed the menus to the three people. Yeah. Well, it's time for you to lead the team. Look at the classes ahead of you. They've been sending them back to ninja school to study. You're living too leisurely a life as a Jonin CC. Oh, you can't be so leisurely from now on. Kakashi supported his chin and turned to look at Naruto next to him. I saw Naruto holding a pencil and the menu, frantically ticking off the dishes and making a strange laugh. He. Hey, what are you doing? If CC's wallet is not enough, I'll leave you here to wash dishes. Kakashi snatched the menu from Naruto, and Naruto snorted after being snatched away. Humph, stingy Sasuke and Hinata just ordered some meat and juice and handed them to Kakashi. But Naruto was different. He ordered a lot of expensive marbled beef, which made Kakashi CC feel bad. After giving the menu to the waiter, Asuma returned to the 10th class table. The four of them chatted for a while, and Naruto asked Kakashi what he did before. Kakashi replied with 5 words, community warmth delivery. What a great community warming gesture. When Kakashi was trying to assassinate someone in Umbu's original place, he used rakery to bring warmth to people. It was really gentle. Sasuke complained in his heart, but on the surface he was still drinking soda and watching the two of them. Soon the meat came up and started grilling. Sasuke ran to the seasoning area to prepare 2 bowls of barbecue seasoning and handed 1 bowl to Hinata. SAS is partial to me, what about mine? Sasuke picked up the tongs and flipped the meat on the grill pan. Oh, I don't know what flavor you like. Naruto puffed out his cheeks and handed his plate to Kakashi. Kakashi CC, help me with this, I don't want anything sweet. Kakashi looked at the small plate handed over by Naruto with dead eyes and said oh, then took it to season it. The meal was a mixed bag for the guests but not for the hosts. Kakashi spent a lot of money on it and looked at his empty wallet with a look of despair on his face. After eating, the three of them waved goodbye and went home. As for Sasuke, he was going to go to the guard team while he had some time to see if there was any story behind Itaki and Izumi being so close recently. When I have eaten and drunk enough and have nothing to do, I like to find something to do. Running to the security captain's office, Shisui was looking at the recent security files. Shisui Nissan. Shisui looked up and saw that it was Sasuke. Oh? It's Sasuke. What can I do for you? Sasuke nodded and sat down on the couch in Shisui's office. Shisui poured Sasuke a cup of tea. Sasuke looked around and whispered in Shisui's ear like a thief, "Shisui-Nisan, do you know what's wrong with my brother lately?" Hearing Sasuke's question, Shisui stroked his chin and thought for a while, not when I'm at work, but recently Ataka seems to like going to the meatball shop after getting off work. Is there still Sister Quan? Oh, yes, yes. What's wrong? Is there something wrong with them? Sasuke gave a look that piqued Shisui's interest. The heart of the 8 trigrams is something that everyone has. Sasuke coughed and told him that Izumi had come to Ataka to go out in the morning. That's nothing, it's boring. Shisui returned to his desk and continued reading the scroll. Keep looking around. If you find anything interesting, remember to tell Shisui-Nisan. I'll treat you to afternoon tea then. Sasuke said oh and walked out of Shisui's office, then went to the dumpling shop that Ataki often went to see if Ataki was there. It was lunchtime, and Ataki usually liked to sit in the meatball shop for a while during his free time. When he ran to the door of the dumpling shop, 2 familiar figures attracted his attention. Sure enough, Itaki and Izumi were sitting inside chatting and eating dumplings. It seemed like they were having a good chat. In order to see it more carefully, Sasuke even turned on Sharingan to see what the 2 of them were saying. Izumi was giggling with her hands covering her mouth, and Itaki's face was a little red. Sasuke could now be 100% sure that there was something going on between the 2 of them. It's a good thing that I didn't use the crying technique when I was a child. Sasuke Itaki in this world still hopes that he can live a happy life. After watching for a while, Sasuke smiled and decided not to be a light bulb anymore. He turned off the Sharingan, turned around, left the dumpling shop and went home. Kakashi CC. This is so boring. Is there any more exciting mission? Naruto was pulling the weeds on the ground. These days, the mission of Team 7 was to catch cats, walk dogs, pull weeds, and look for lost items. They had nothing to do all day long, so they decided to be the guides. It's also very eloquent, how about it? Kakashi yawned as he watched the intimate paradise from the side. You just became genin, what kind of missions can you possibly have? I'm telling you, there are plenty of them. I've even given up hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of business to stay here with you guys just to lead this class. Sasuke and Hinata on the side didn't care about what tasks they were doing. They just pulled weeds and chatted, and went to collect the money after completing this task and receiving the commission. It was still early, so Kakashi took the 3 of them to continue looking for the 3rd generation to take on the task. When they arrived at the Hokage room, Naruto jumped out first, 3rd generation grandpa. I don't want to do low-level tasks anymore. Give me something exciting. I want excitement. Seeing Naruto say this, Sarutobi Hiruzen took a puff of his cigarette and smiled. There are many ways, and you can't eat hot tofu in a hurry. What mission do you want to do as a new genin? Capture the rebel ninja. Naruto puffed out his cheeks, I don't care. Just don't let me do the work of pulling weeds and teasing cats. The 3rd generation didn't say anything, so Naruto started lying on the ground and acting like a spoiled child. Tremolo, 3rd generation grandpa. Sarutobi Hiruzen was helpless to see Naruto acting like this. The 3rd generation took a deep drag on his cigarette and said, well, since that's what you said, then please come in, Mr. Tesna. After he finished speaking, the side door of the Hokage's room opened, and a drunkard, reeking of alcohol, holding a bottle of beer, walked out. Just these 3 little brats to escort me? Is that okay? The 3rd generation smiled at Naruto and said, this mission is to escort Mr. Desna, the bridge construction expert, to the land of waves. The mission level is B. What do you think, Naruto? Naruto stood up immediately after hearing that this mission was interesting. Okay. This is it. Don't worry, Mr. Desna. With Kakashi Jonin leading the team, a B-rank mission won't be a big deal. Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen speak so confidently, Desna said nothing and returned to the room to continue drinking. Team 7 left the Hokage building, and Kakashi told everyone to go back and prepare their daily necessities and gather at the village entrance tomorrow morning. After returning home, Sasuke immediately began to think about the plot of Wave Country. It was probably about encountering an assassin on the way, then Zabuza's surprise attack, and finally arriving at Wave Country and fighting with Haku and Zabuza. In the end, Haku blocked the sword for Zabuza, Zabuza died in the battle, Cardo also died, and the Naruto bridge was successfully built. That's about it. With my own strength and Kakashi, this mission shouldn't be difficult. I just happen to need some actual combat training, so I'll just treat it as actual combat. Thinking of this, Sasuke told Mikoto Fugaku that he would be away for a few days for tomorrow's mission. Mikoto immediately prepared Sasuke's luggage, spare clothes, food, daily necessities, etc. After dinner in the evening, Sasuke went to bed early. The next morning, after eating breakfast with Itaki and Mikoto Fugaku, Sasuke grabbed his bags and headed out. When they arrived at the village entrance, Kakashi, Hinata, and Desna had already arrived, and Sasuke was the second to last. Oh, why hasn't Luduo come yet? Kakashi looked at the sun in the sky, then took out the intimate paradise and started watching. Desna on the side snorted, is that brat reliable? Don't let him drag us down later. Just as he finished speaking, Naruto arrived. He saw Naruto trotting over and scratching his head, sorry I'm late. I was too excited last night and stayed up a little late. The group set out on foot towards the land of waves, with Kakashi leading the way, Naruto ahead of Desna and Hinata and Sasuke at the end. Along the way, Sasuke was very vigilant and observed his surroundings, as he didn't know when those two guys would pop out. Naruto in the front was very leisurely, it's my first time out of the village, it feels so good to be outside the village humph, little yellow-haired devil, do you know? The small countries outside the 5 major countries are extremely chaotic. Wars and rebellions can happen anytime and anywhere. Naruto snorted, what a yellow-haired brat, I'm telling you, my name is Uzumaki Naruto, and I'm the man who will become Hokage later. Desna looked disdainful after hearing this, Hokage is the most powerful person in your village, right? You? I don't think it's possible. Damn guy, not likable at all. Humph. Naruto snorted and stopped talking to Desna. Kakashi, who was at the front of the group, yawned. Yawn, Mr. Desna, what's the current situation in the land of waves? Could you tell me about it? Desna sighed. Things aren't going well in Wave Country right now. There's a local tycoon named Cardo. He's trying to control the maritime trade market in Wave Country and prevent people from building bridges to make a living. He's even hired a group of people to bully the locals. Anyone who dares to talk about building a bridge will be beaten. As for me, I am a famous bridge builder. My purpose in returning this time is to build a bridge for the Wave Country at all costs, so that the people of the Wave Country can have a little more livelihood and not be oppressed by Cardo and unable to afford food. After Desna finished speaking, Kakashi nodded and didn't ask any more questions. Naruto turned around and gave Desna a thumbs up, not bad, uncle, I didn't realize you were so righteous before. Humph, that's it. The two of them seemed to have become closer because of this topic and they continued chatting. Sasuke-kun, what are you looking at? Hinata found it a bit strange that Sasuke looked around from time to time. Nothing, just looking at the scenery outside the village. Sasuke replied. After walking for about 2 days, Team 7 left the border of the Land of Fire. At this time, Kakashi also began to be alert and looked around from time to time. Sasuke did the same. It was still very dangerous outside the Land of Fire. Who knows what will happen? Sasuke and Hinata leaned against a tree. Sasuke drank some water while looking around, thinking that the area seemed familiar. During the break, Kakashi did not sit down, but leaned against a big tree while watching the intimate paradise and keeping alert. Suddenly, a strange sound was heard and everyone immediately became alert. Hinata and Naruto walked over to Desna and pulled out their kunai to observe the surroundings. Sasuke prepared to make seals with his hands, and Kakashi also put away the intimate paradise. Just when everyone was very nervous, a rabbit jumped out of the woods. What? It's just a rabbit. Naruto saw the rabbit relax and smiled, wanting to catch it. At this moment, 2 black shadows suddenly fell from the sky from Kakashi's side and cut Kakashi in half. The first one. This stunned everyone. Naruto looked at Kakashi on the ground in disbelief. Kakashi CC. Naruto, come back. Sasuke shouted, quickly forming seals with his hands. Fire-style great fireball technique. Naruto came to his senses upon hearing Sasuke's shout and hurried over here. The huge great fireball hit the two of them, but they were not pushovers and dodged the great fireball and rushed towards Desna. Sasuke naturally rose to the challenge, pulling out 2 kunai from the spatial scroll in his sleeves and charging towards the 2 men. Fire-style ninjutsu is still only suitable for feints, as the chance of hitting is too low. The 3 of them were getting closer and closer, and Naruto and Hinata behind Sasuke were watching with fear. After all, it was their first real fight, a fight where life and death were at stake, and it was completely different from ordinary sparring. The 2 men moved apart, and the iron chain between them rushed towards Sasuke. Sasuke jumped up and stabbed the 2 kunai into the gaps in the iron chain. Sasuke's movements were very smooth. He pressed the kunai down with both hands and then thrust it into the ground. The 2 men were fixed to the ground with chains by Sasuke and were unable to break free at the first time. Sasuke seized the opportunity and took out 2 shurikens from the scroll again and shot them at the necks of the 2 men. Sasuke is different from Naruto Hinata, he has seen blood and will not hesitate to strike. 2 shurikens pierced the back of the 2 men's necks. They felt pain and took off the gloves that fixed the chains on their hands. They looked at Sasuke angrily, but they did not attack Sasuke. Instead, they took out kunai from their waists to kill Desna. This kind of person is a complete ruthless person who will not give up until he achieves his goal. Sasuke naturally wouldn't let them succeed and quickly chased after them. Naruto on his side saw the two approaching and tried to get into a defensive stance, but his hands were still shaking. Sasuke was unable to reach them immediately. Just as Sasuke took out the flying thunder god kunai he had prepared from his sleeves, a white-haired uncle jumped down from a tree nearby and stepped on the backs of the two men. This uncle was naturally Kakashi CC. The beheading he just did was just a body replacement technique. He also wanted to see the actual combat performance of the three members of Team 7, so he did not take action immediately. The two were trampled to the ground by Kakashi and could not move. Kakashi kicked one of them in the neck, and one assassin died in the northwest. The same happened to the second one. Well done, Sas! Kakashi clapped his hands. Naruto saw that Kakashi was resurrected and immediately ran over and shouted excitedly, Kakashi CC, you are not dead. Kakashi smiled, who am I, CC, to be killed by such a cheap sneak attack? Hinata also breathed a sigh of relief. With Kakashi in the team had a backbone. Desna was also terrified. Damn Cardo, Kakashi kicked the two assassins aside, and the team took a short break and set off again. Everyone was nervous along the way except Kakashi and Sasuke. Hinata was next to Sasuke, and Sasuke could see that Hinata was still a little panicked and still shocked by what had just happened. The five-member team continued to advance towards the Land of Waves, and after more than an hour, they arrived at the territory of the Land of Waves. The five people took a boat to the Land of Wave country. It was still some distance away from the location where the bridge was to be built, so Kakashi's team walked along the river so that they would not lack water to drink. Just as they passed through a village, Kakashi frowned and raised his hand to stop them from going any further. What happened to Kakashi CC? As Naruto finished speaking, a thin layer of fog started to form around them, and Sasuke knew that it was Zabuza coming, so he quickly walked in front of Dejuna. Well, Dasna-san, Mr. Cardo paid me to take your life, so please be on your way. A word came out from the fog. The voice was very cold and ruthless, as if it was accustomed to life and death. Naruto, Hinata, protect Mr. Dasna. Sasuke ordered, and Naruto and Hinata reacted quickly and stood in front of Dasna. Sasuke whispered. Hinata nodded and held two fingers up in front of her eyes, and saw the veins near Hinata's eyes suddenly bulge. Eye roll. Hinata opened her Byakugan and immediately looked around. Sas, there's someone in that tree. Hinata said as Sasuke immediately took out his shuriken and shot it in that direction. Then a sound of metal collision was heard, and the fog around slowly dissipated. I saw a man with a bandage on his mouth and a large, notched knife in his hand standing on the tree. Kakashi frowned as the man hefted the sword onto his shoulder. Sharingan Kakashi, Konoha's copy ninja? I didn't expect my opponent to be you this time. What an honor. Kakashi looked at the man for a moment before recognizing him. I've also heard of Zabuza Momokai, the demon from Mist Shinobi. After saying that, Kakashi raised his forehead protector and a three-tomo Sharingan appeared in his eyes. Ninjutsu, Mist Shinobi killing technique. Zabuza took the lead, raising one hand above his head to launch a ninjutsu. Sasuke, Naruto, Hinata, protect Mr. Dasna. Hi. After receiving the order, the three immediately formed a V-shaped defensive formation to protect Dasna in the middle. The surroundings fell into silence, the fog became thicker and thicker, and it was impossible to see the people around. Fortunately, Hinata had the Byakugan, and the Byakugan's 360-degree perspective ability was still useful in the fog. Kakashi CC. Behind. Hinata reminded. He just saw Zabuza's chakra meridians jump down from the tree. The meridians are naturally connected to the person, so Hinata hurriedly reminded Kakashi. Kakashi turned his head sideways and saw Zabuza's beheading sword falling from a high place. Fortunately, he dodged it this time. Kakashi did not dare to delay and took out the kunai. Although Kakashi has Sharingan, which allows him to see the direction of other people's chakra, unlike the Byakugan, it cannot see through things, so he still cannot see anything once the fog covers it. Kakashi CC, left. Hinata kept staring at Zabuza and reporting the location to Kakashi, but this time what greeted Kakashi was not a beheading sword, but Zabuza's water-style technique. Kakashi was caught off guard and trapped in the water prison. The fog around him dissipated, and Zabuza's real body stood in front of Sasuke and others, holding the water prison. Water-style, water alien technique. Zabuza used ninjutsu again. His main body controlled the water prison to prevent Kakashi from breaking free, and the goal of the water clone was to kill Dasna and the three little ones. The water clone rushed over carrying a beheading sword. Sasuke, the second strongest fighter in the team, immediately formed a hand seal, fire-style, dragon fire technique. A ball of flame shot towards Zabuza's water clone. Zabuza's water clone was no fool and also began to form hand seals, water-style, great waterfall technique. There was a river near the group, and Zabuza had the advantage of geographical location. Huge waves appeared behind Zabuza's water clone. The dragon fire technique that Sasuke had just released was completely suppressed. Not only that, the four of them were also knocked to the ground by the water. Sasuke quickly steadied himself and stood up, and seeing that his fire-style jutsu was useless, he immediately activated his Sharingan. Zabuza's water clone was also a little afraid when he saw the three Tomo Sharingan in Sasuke's eyes. I didn't expect that this team not only had a little girl from the Hyuga family, but also a little brat from Uchiha. Interesting. Zabuza's water clone stopped and stood in front of everyone. Naruto helped Desna up and stood next to Sasuke. And me, Master Uzumaki Naruto. Uzumaki? Looking at your hair, you don't look like someone from the Uzumaki clan. Zabuza's water clone said to Naruto with contempt. Naruto clenched his fists, damn it. That Zabuza, just wait for your uncle Uzumaki Naruto's fist to eat. After saying that, Naruto quickly formed a hand seal, shadow clone technique. The water clone also picked up the beheading sword and pointed it at Naruto, okay. Naruto took the first step, and two of Naruto's shadow clones rushed towards Zabuza's water clone. Seeing Naruto so reckless, Sasuke quickly grabbed Naruto who was about to rush forward. There are many roads, don't rush in stupidly, use tactics, listen to me. While the two shadow clones were interfering with Zabuza's water clones, Sasuke told Naruto the tactics to deal with Zabuza. Okay, I'll listen to you, Sas. Wherever there are more roads, take them. Okay. Naruto excitedly formed seals with his hands again, multiple shadow clone technique. In an instant, more than 20 Narutos rushed towards Zabuza's water clone. Sasuke quickly took out the flying thunder god kunai from the scroll in his sleeve. Their tactic was to let Naruto's shadow clone attract the attention of Zabuza and his water clones, and then he would sneak attack Zabuza. Sasuke quickly threw the flying thunder god kunai towards Zabuza's body, and then took out 6 shurikens. He was going to use his fastest attack, fire style, for a sneak attack. Zabuza looked at the flying kunai with a look of disdain, and dodged to the side without moving. Uchiha brat, you don't think you can kill me just like that, do you? Zabuza looked at Sasuke with a playful expression, but he didn't notice that Sasuke's mouth corners were slightly raised in a smile at this moment. In an instant, Flying Thunder God was activated, and before anyone could react, Sasuke appeared behind Zabuza. Fire style, Impatience Chlored. Sasuke Flying Thunder God transferred and quickly formed hand seals. Zabuza heard the voice behind him and turned around in horror. All that greeted him were countless shurikens burning in flames. There was no other way. It would be painful to be hit like this, so Zabuza considered it over and over again and finally dodged it. As soon as he dodged, the water prison technique was automatically broken and Kakashi escaped. Good job, Sas, give it to me. Now it's CC. Kakashi looked a bit disheveled, his body soaked. Sasuke nodded, and Naruto was also excited to see Kakashi rescued. Kakashi CC is okay. Seeing that these people were still chatting, Zabuza wanted to use his old trick to sneak attack again, and formed seals with his hands, ninjutsu. Before he could finish the hand seals, he saw Kakashi standing in front of him, following his example. Ninja technique, Mist Shinobi technique. Before Zabuza could release, Kakashi took the lead. A thick fog instantly covered the battlefield. Zabuza didn't expect that Kakashi could copy, learn in person, so quickly. In this thick fog, it has always been Zabuza who assassinated others, so he was a little uncomfortable with the situation now being the other way around. Zabuza retreated repeatedly and quickly left the range of the thick fog. However, what greeted him was Sasuke raising one hand above his head and making hand seals, just like Kakashi just did. The power of the 3 Tomo Sharingan copy ninjutsu is still very strong, and Sasuke also learns and uses it immediately. Ninjutsu, Mist Shinobi technique. Zabuza, oh no, there's a cheat. Sasuke used the Mist Shinobi technique himself and found that he could see everything clearly in the fog, and he immediately saw Zabuza's figure. Fire style Great Fireball technique. Sasuke took the lead in attacking, and a fireball was thrown at Zabuza. Feeling the temperature around him gradually rising, Zabuza quickly used his beheading sword to smash in the direction where the great fireball was coming from. As soon as the great fireball came into contact with the beheading sword, it was cut in half like a piece of cake. Zabuza was an old hand in combat after all, and he was able to react quickly. He instantly ran out of the range of Kakashi and Sasuke's Mist Shinobi technique. Sasuke was the first to turn off the Mist Shinobi technique, which consumed his own chakra to create a thick fog that blocked other people's vision. He didn't want to use it all the time and cause his chakra to be lost quickly. It would be better for him to launch more feints with the remaining chakra. Kakashi obviously thought so too, and the two of them released their Mist Shinobi techniques together and stared at Zabuza. Naruto, who had just been AFK in front of Desna, ran to Sasuke after seeing Zabuza being forced back by Sasuke and Kakashi. Sas, Nalia duo, you guys are responsible for the feint attack, I'm going to use my own technique to end the battle. The two nodded, and Naruto patted his chest. Don't worry, Kakashi CC. Leave it to me. Well, there are many roads. Let's go. Good job. Multiple shadow clone technique. Naruto and his 5 or 6 shadow clones quickly lined up in front. Sasuke quickly explained the tactics to Naruto, just like before. Naruto's eyes lit up after hearing it. Okay, let's do it. The 5 or 6 shadow clones made way for an empty space for Sasuke to stand over. Seeing this, Zabuza did not idle but started to make seals with his hands. Sasuke naturally did not stand there as a meat shield, and immediately formed hand seals quickly. Although his speed was much slower than Zabuza's, he was still not as fast as Zabuza. Fire style. Fire Dragon Flame Bomb. Zabuza saw that Sasuke still dared to attack with fire style and thought that this kid really has no memory. The hand seals became faster, and after completing the last seal, he raised one hand above his head as before, water style, Water Dragon Bomb. A ball of fire and a water dragon's 2 attacks were about to collide. Naruto and his shadow clone beside him chuckled and began to form hand seals, wind style, great breakthrough. Sasuke's tactic was to have Naruto use wind style to enhance the power of his fire style, forming a fusion ninjutsu. Although the 5 elements are mutually generated and restrained, they are equal to or superior to the restrained party. If the restrained party is stronger than the restraining party, then the Tiangang will be reversed. That's what happened at this point, with all 6 Naruto using wind style together, and Sasuke himself increasing the power of the Fire Dragon Flame Bomb. The power of wind and fire combined together, making the temperature and range of the Fire Dragon Bombs released by Sasuke more than 5 times higher than usual. This time, Zabuza's Water Dragon Bomb was directly suppressed and turned into water vapor. But the Fire Dragon Flame Bomb did not stop and continued to attack Zabuza. Zabuza didn't dare to use the beheading sword to chop fire style like he did just now. The power was obviously not the same as the great fireball just now. Water style water barrier. Zabuza formed hand seals faster than ever this time, and with the advantage of the terrain, he created a huge wall of water to block the combination of Sasuke and Naruto. The two also stopped releasing ninjutsu, as it was too exhausting for their lung capacity. They were breathing heavily, and their faces were now red, just like when they were fighting the Hokage and were penetrated by 3 enemies and were being patted on the head by the opponent. Their faces were red and warm. Although both of them were breathing heavily, Sasuke and Naruto were very satisfied with the attack just now. Kakashi couldn't help but admire the two's tacit cooperation, especially Sasuke, who was worthy of being a genius of Uchiha, and could actually think of such a joint ninjutsu. At this time, Sasuke was the happiest among all the people present. You know, his Sharingan was never turned off, and he was staring at Zabuza's hand that was making hand seals. To put it simply, he secretly learned 2 ninjutsu from Zabuza in front of him. It's not really that difficult for 3 Tomo Sharingan to copy most ninjutsu, unless it's some unsealed ninjutsu or the person's hand seals are so fast that Sharingan can't see them clearly, then Sharingan really can't do anything about it. Kakashi on the side also raised his arms and began to make seals. He was not AFK just now, but was just looking for Zabuza to be tired or not alert so as to attack suddenly. Obviously, this is such an opportunity. Kakashi finished the seal and a lightning appeared in his hand, wrapping around Kakashi's left hand. Kakashi pointed 4 fingers forward, and the lightning was like a sharp blade. Kakashi suddenly rushed towards Zabuza at a very fast speed and arrived in front of Zabuza in an instant. It's over Zabuza, Reikari. Chapter 50 Bedtime Story. Just as Zabuza was about to die under Kakashi's Reikari, 3 ice needles first pierced Zabuza's neck. Kakashi was stunned by this scene and looked in the direction of the ice needle. At this time, a man with Mist Shinobi Umbu was standing on a tree over there. Umbu of Mist Shinobi? What can I do for you? Kakashi stopped releasing Reikari and looked at the man. Sasuke, who was not far from Kakashi, naturally saw this person and knew his identity. Haku, Zabuza's teammate and the protagonist of Hokage's first plot knife. Hey, take Kakashi-san of Konoha, please hand over the body of the traitorous nin Zabuza to me. I need to take the body back to Mizukage-sama for disposal. Bai jumped down from the tree and walked to Kakashi. Kakashi just stared at Bai for a while, then squatted down and touched Zabuza's neck to check Zabuza's pulse. He's already passed away. Zabuza's body is of no use to us, so please take it away. Kakashi removed his hand from checking for a pulse, and Shiro walked over to carry Zabuza. Thank you, goodbye. After saying that, Bai took Zabuza's body and left. The crisis was temporarily resolved, and Desna breathed a sigh of relief. Thank you so much, everyone. Without you, I would definitely be dead. Kakashi returned to his usual world-weary expression. Ah, no big deal. After all, I've accepted your commission. We're not far from our destination. Let's hurry up and get to the village first. Everyone agreed with this decision, packed up their things, put on their bags and started on their way. After another half-day's journey, we finally arrived at our destination. After entering the village, Team 7 and Desna wandered around and finally stayed at the home of a child named Inari. It was getting late, so Kakashi borrowed the Inari family's kitchen, took some ingredients and started cooking. The three little ones sleep in the same room with quilts spread out at night. Hinata was so nervous about sleeping so close to Sasuke tonight that her face turned red as she made the bed. Hinata, do you have a fever? Why is your face so red? Naruto asked doubtfully. Naruto was a typical player with low emotional intelligence, and this question made Hinata even more embarrassed. It was Sasuke who came to the rescue and said, Naruto, Kakashi is calling you. Huh? Why didn't I hear it? I don't know. Go and see what Kakashi wants you to do. Oh. Naruto made the bed and ran out quickly. Sasuke smiled slightly as he watched Naruto running out. Huh? Hinata felt even more embarrassed by Sasuke's words. Sasuke immediately left the room after he finished speaking, leaving Hinata alone and embarrassed. After about 10 minutes, Hinata seemed to have adjusted her mood, but her face was still red when she walked out. It's time to eat. Kakashi shouted. Everyone went to the kitchen and sat down. Inari had just heard from Desna about the battle between Kakashi and others and Zabuza, and his admiration was beyond words. Naruto ate beside Inari and laughed, he, that's right, that's right. I, Uzumaki Naruto-sama, am the man who will become Hokage. Which way is Donnison's country one? Ha. This supporting role and the funny role also added a bit of fun to the dinner. After dinner, Naruto and Sasuke took the basin and went out to take a shower. Inari's house didn't have any appliances like showers or water heaters. The only electrical appliances in his house were lamps. The two ran to the river. Since they were good brothers, they were not shy. They took off their clothes, exposing the baby elephant, jumped into the river and started washing. There are many ways, look at this. Water style, splashing water to wash your hair technique. Damn it, Sass. Watch me fight back, baby elephant spit technique. Where I go, stay away from me. The two played in the river, and after a while they washed, put on their clothes and prepared to go back. On the way back, the two passed by a forest and saw a very pretty woman sitting on a stone in the forest. This woman was none other than Bai, and his true appearance did indeed resemble a girl. In Sasuke's words from his previous life, this was considered a little boy girl. Sass, come look, there's a beautiful big sister. Sasuke glanced over there and said, let's go, what's so good about big sister? Don't you like your Sakura-chan anymore? Naruto shook his head, well, I still like Sakura-chan a little better. The two returned to the house, and Hinata had also finished her shower, but unlike Sasuke and the others, she took a hot shower by boiling water in the it was getting late and the moon had already started working. The three of them crawled into bed. Naruto felt so good in the morning's battle that he kept thinking about bragging about his cool moves to Sakura-chan when he got back. As for Hinata, she was a little shy and couldn't sleep because Sasuke was next to her. Seeing that both of them were lying awake, Sasuke sat up and suggested, well, since neither of you can sleep, let me tell you a story. Hearing there was a story to hear, Naruto nodded and turned to look at Sasuke, what story? What story? Tell me now. Hinata also looked curious. Sasuke coughed and suddenly lowered his voice, have you ever heard of a ghost knocking on the door? The first sentence startled Hinata, she was afraid of ghosts, but Naruto didn't react much, no, tell me quickly. And the patient in Ward 404 died the next day after hearing a knock on the door. I heard this from a friend of my ethnic group. He once broke his leg and was admitted to the hospital. He happened to be in Ward 404. He didn't know about this story at the time and didn't pay much attention to it. After dinner, his parents went home and said they would come back tomorrow. Time slowly turned into evening. At this point, Naruto and Hinata started to get nervous. Just when my friend was sleeping, suddenly, there was a series of knocks on the door. My friend thought it was the nurse making rounds and wanted to open the door, but just as he got out of bed, he accidentally fell. At this moment, the door was opened from the outside, and he saw a dark figure walking slowly on tiptoe towards the ward. Luckily, my friend didn't fall towards the door, but towards the window. He was so scared that he hid under the bed. The shadow walked up to his bed as if he was looking for something. My friend was terrified. He closed his eyes and covered his mouth. It took him a while to open them. When he opened his eyes, he was relieved to find that the dark shadow in the ward was gone. Sasuke paused for a moment when he said this. People are so strange. Even though they are afraid, they still have to listen. And then, what happened next? Naruto asked. After saying that, Naruto screamed oh my god and was really scared, and Hinata was also trembling with fear. Sasuke laughed, ha, don't be afraid, I made up this story. Look at you, Naruto, you're still the Hokage, why are you so timid? Damn you, Sass, you dare to scare me? I'm going to sleep in your bed tonight. Demi. In the end, Naruto finally got through. After the story was finished, everyone felt sleepy and Naruto fell asleep first. Sasuke looked at Hinata's bed next to him and found that Hinata was still shaking. He knew that he had scared her and quickly got into Hinata's bed. This startled Hinata again, and she blushed. "Sas, what are you doing?" Sasuke stretched out his little hand and held Hinata's hand. "I saw that you were scared and couldn't sleep, so I came to accompany you. I will go back when you fall asleep." Hinata was shy but was obviously shocked by Sasuke's recent story, so she didn't say anything and just let Sasuke hold her hand. After a long while, Hinata closed her eyes and fell asleep peacefully. Sasuke wanted to take his hand out and go back to the bed, but he found that Hinata was holding his hand tightly. There was nothing he could do. Since that was the case, Sasuke, would just let it go.